Well, what a difference 7 days make. Last Friday, we were sat here in the Daffy News studio celebrating Durham's third consecutive home win. 1 week and 2 defeats later, well, there's a few nerves around Chester Street with the battle for top 4 in the North Group intensifying. But it's the business end of the season and every minute matters. Welcome to the Vitality T20 Blast 2024 and welcome around the world to Durham Live.
Is he ready?
Yes, hello there, whether you're watching here in the UK, exclusively live on Fancode in India, or somewhere else across the globe where I imagine the weather is slightly better than here in Chester Street. Hello there, welcome along to Durham Live, the only place where you can catch every single ball delivered of Durham's white ball cricketing summer. It's a strong word in the northeast, most certainly, but also the only place where you can catch exclusive coverage of tonight's offering. Durham taking on the Outlaws right here at the Seat Unique Riverside in Chester Street. I'm Andy Sixsmith, and as ever pre-match, we're going to have all of the pre-match build-up to the start of this one that's just under half an hour away. We'll have analysis, we'll have highlights, we will have the absolute lot. But in return, we want you to do us a favour. Get in touch with us. We're on YouTube, so drop us a comment. Get on Twitter, use the hashtag #ForTheNorth. Send us in your comments what you think of a Daffy News studio, what you think of a Durham's performance, what you think of our commentators, but be polite, okay? Maybe not that polite. Anyway, we'll get into things, and you'll probably notice this quite quickly because we need changes in results. We've definitely got a change in the Daffy News studio in terms of our punditry lineup. Now, you see, Steve Harmison is away on England duty. So we thought to ourselves over the last 24 hours or so, we need to replace him with a couple of people who are knowledgeable, a couple of people who are eloquent. Where the heck is my producer? And why have you brought me Scott Borthwick and Gordon Mitchell? Honestly. Boys, welcome along. Scott Borthwick, it's been a while. How have you been?
Yes, I've not been on for a few weeks. I've had a bit of quiet time away, but no, I've enjoyed it. It's been nice.
We've won while you've been away.
Yes, that's my worry. I did watch the stream last night, and it's obviously disappointing, but hopefully we can bounce back tonight.
Yeah. So what have you been up to? I mean, I imagine golf has featured. Obviously, there's been the county championship, which we'll come on to in a second, but golf's been high up, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've had a couple of rounds since that last championship. I mean, I've lost my days, but we finished last Tuesday, didn't we? That championship game, obviously a disappointing result against Worcester. So I've had a week off. I had 2 or 3 rounds of golf. Bit of time with the family, the little kids back home. So a bit of quiet time, but yeah, it's nice to be back in the studio.
Absolutely. What was the kind of just general reaction after the county championship? Because obviously with draw, defeats, you know, it kind of doesn't look good on paper, but on the pitch it looked far better.
Oh, I think that Worcester game, I think sitting here now, it actually still hurts. Because it was disappointing. I think it's the week before against a very good, strong Essex side. We outplayed them for 3.5 days. Really, we were amazing with bat and ball. And then we come home against Worcester, and it was obviously a really tricky pitch. It was 24 wickets lost in the first day, which is not ideal. And then we set them sort of, what was it, 200, 250, I think, on the last day or day 3. And yeah, they chased it down. And look, fair play to Worcester. They actually batted really well. But it was really disappointing because, you know, after such a strong week against a good side of Essex, you want to continue that and get a win over the line against Worcester. So yeah, that hurts because the next 4-day game isn't until sort of middle of August. So in my mind, look, I've got 5 weeks to think about it and dwell on that. So it's frustrating, but look, on the flip side, we've got 5 games left in that competition. It's a tight league. I think we're 5th in the league, I think, at the minute. So it's still tight. Look, we want to finish as high as we can. We've still got Surrey to play. We go there and we win. Look, you give yourself a chance to get in that top 3. But look, it feels like a a long time to wait for that next red ball game.
Yeah, plenty of time to wait, but plenty to look forward to, most certainly. Now, you two, I know we've just heard from Scott purely for now, but you two know that we're big on stats here on Durham Live, and we're big on stats in the Daffa News studio, and you'd be delighted to see I've got a stat here. It was estimated that 34% of the chat for the last T20 home game was about the size of Gordon Mutchell's head. Now, I'm delighted to say that one positive about Harmy not being here today, I imagine that figure's going to reduce today, Mutchie.
I'm hoping so, but I have got my good mate in the studio, Phil Mustard, so I'm looking forward to getting on comms with him. And you like to use the man, the myth, the legend. I think he sums that up very, very well.
You've nicked me line for the interval when we bring him into the studio, man. What are you doing? I'm going to have to take at least an hour to think of something better now than that.
Just abuse my head, it'll be all right.
I'm not Steve Harmison, mate. I wouldn't do that to you. I think too much of you. Listen, obviously, we were quite happy, weren't we, after those 3 consecutive T20 wins. Muchie, did we jinx Durham ever so slightly? Because since then on the road, it's not gone too well.
Well, my commentator's curse went very well last game.
It did.
And we were going well there. And I think it just sums up this competition. You know, you can never rest on your laurels. We praise them, how well they've played. They managed to not lose wickets in clusters, build partnerships. Everything seemed to go our way, and the wheels have come off a little bit last couple of games. But watching the boys warm up there in the football, spirits seem high, and there's no reason why we can't get back on that winning run.
There's definitely going to be a few football-related puns, isn't there, with a certain final taking place in another sport across the course of the week, and I'm sure we'll mention it at some point. Let's just focus. We'll come on to Yorkshire in a second, because obviously that game down at Headingley was just last night. But what about the Steelbacks game? Because, I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't watch it live. I was keeping up to date on social media, and when you see the figures of 4 for 3, you're fearing the worst, but the boys did pretty well to recover in the manner that they did.
Yeah, I mean, I flicked on the scores sort of about half an hour into the game and couldn't believe it. Yeah. And then sort of put the stream on and watched it, and we did really well to get 140. I think after 4 or 5 overs, you get off at 140, you absolutely snap your hand off. It was a great innings from Colin Ackermann. He got 70 odd and sort of been steered us to a half decent score. And I thought we actually bowled really well. Our spinners down there were amazing. Souths and Parky were brilliant. Yeah. And we got in a position to actually claw it back and to win the game. But we just, there was a couple of sixes, I think, one off Ackermann on the 17th over, and then one off Ben Dorsh's, and then obviously going into the last over needing 8 to win. It's always going to favour the batting side. But we did get in a position where we clawed it back and we got into position to win. It was a bit disappointing, but there was definitely some positives that game, I thought.
And I mean, you won't know this because you abandoned us for on Durham Live for weeks on end, mate. But Colin Ackermann's actually in the studio, so it was great to have him here on comms. Great to see him back in the runs as well, because obviously he's had that injury out. He's back in and getting that innings against the Steelbacks.
Oh, definitely. Look, he's a proper player, and we knew that when we signed him. We signed a great player, so much experience in all 3 formats. And when he broke his finger a couple of months ago, his finger was a right mess. And I remember I spoke to him the week before he played, and he was thinking, look, I'm maybe still 2 or 3 weeks away here. Then he got it out he had a little cast on, he got that off, and then actually had movement in it straight away. And the physio, Susan, couldn't believe how much of a quick turnaround it was. So he's a tough lad. He's a tough character to come back from that injury, because like I say, it was quite a bad little break in his little finger.
Absolutely, but it wasn't enough, his innings against the Steelbacks. What did you make of it from afar, Muchie, against the Steelbacks?
Yeah, similar. I thought we did well to cling on as well as we did, and it was an absolutely fantastic innings from Ackermann to get us in the game. And again, I think we've just got to get back to that. I think Leesy and Clarkey at the top have really set a real good foundation for us. If we can get them going again tonight, that'll get the boys back in winning ways, I think.
Absolutely, and we've seen it already this season, haven't we, where Durham have lost on the road. It was right at the start of the season, in fairness, lost on the road. Then we came back here to the Seat Unique Riverside, beat Lancashire Lightning too. So they've got previous, Scott, this season.
Yeah, definitely. We had an awful start, didn't we?
The
first 2 games away to Lancs and then here at Birmingham. So look, and Gordon just touched on it there. It's the nature of this competition, and there's no easy games or no easy days in sport and in cricket in this format. So last night, we look at it as a bit of a blip. We've got 3 games to go. We're still in the hunt to qualify. We've just got to park last night, and we've got to start again tonight. We've proven we can do it, and we can prove we can bounce back from big defeats. We just got to keep backing ourselves. And look, and I'm sure that would have been a message last night from Campbell and Leesy to the boys. It would have been right. we park it, we keep smiling it, we make sure we enjoy it, and we never fear. We never there's no doubt in the dressing room. We keep backing each other. So that'll be the message.
Because it was one of those, wasn't it, Muchie against Yorkshire? I thought you were miles away there. You were just staring up over there. You're right. Was it? It's like a magpie there. You just got your attention was taken from something shiny on the other side of the studio. But yeah, we mentioned the Yorkshire game. Yorkshire, we all know, are an absolutely fine side. They ran us very, very close here, but fair play, even on Derby Day, it was a pretty deserved win for them last night at Headingley, wasn't it? On a difficult pitch.
Yeah, I think just looking at Cambo's interview after the game, he read the pitch as if it was going to be really good. They scored 200 last time they were out there. They've got there, it's done a bit. We've lost wickets in the power play and we've never recovered. So, like you say, park it, turn up with a smile on your face. And I think that's his messaging, isn't it? Bazball way, or just positive way. Go out there, back yourself. Absolutely. Today's a new day. Go and make it as if it's your best day you've ever had.
Can't wait.
And that's the thing. Sorry, that's with Cambo. He never dwells on things, and even in the championship side, we never look back and say, like, we could have done this better, we could have done that. Like, generally, we know we haven't done well, and that would have been a message. Literally, look forward. How can we look forward? How can we be better? How can we make those not make those mistakes with last night? Because let's say the guys are experienced and good enough to know when they haven't performed. You don't. I mean, I've said it before, you don't need a weatherman to tell you when it's raining. I've said that a couple of times in the dressing room, and I've had a couple of laughs. But it's true. And like
it's up here in the northeast as well, in fairness.
We're a good side, and we're a good experienced side, and we know that, and look, we're looking forward, definitely.
That's the mark of a good coach as well, though, isn't it? Someone who doesn't necessarily dwell on these matters. It's like, especially in a game like cricket, where this fixtures are coming thick and fast. You've got county, then you've got T20s, the one days coming up. It's the mark of a good coach, but a good sports person as well, Muchie.
Oh, 100%. And I think this is the point of the season when you were playing, you just begin to get the odd niggle here or there and feel a bit tired. Someone who can lift spirits and keep everything going. And I mean, I think they'll probably go the same side again tonight. You'll back those players to get us back on a roll here, get us into our quarterfinals, and it's in our hands. 3 games left. Win 2, we've got a chance to win 3. We might even get a home one.
Because they've been there and done, like you said, unchanged tonight. We'll come on to the team news in just a little bit. But, you know, they're backed, the players. They know the support is that kind of similar familiarity that England have got going on at the minute under Bazball. Talking through their team. So it'd be interesting to see what happens tonight in that sense. Obviously, with Steve Harmison here, normally this is about the sort of time, 6:10 or so, UK time, that would be going across to a pitch report. Harmy's brought us back some tremendous pitch reports this season. Tonight, we thought we'd trust Rob Rush alongside these two. We haven't got a pitch report for you folks, but we've got a live pitch report from the studio because the audio didn't quite work, unfortunately. I know. Is that a shock to you two? It's not your fault.
Harmy, it's the first time he's not been here and it hasn't worked.
Someone stitched you two
Talking
right
about
up.
Harmy, right? He's working with another broadcaster, watching the test. Obviously, the test match finished about midday. Yeah. How drunk do you reckon Steve Harmison's right now?
It was mentioned pre-show, wasn't it? Yeah. Could he have made it back up the northeast in time?
Absolutely no chance.
I tell you what. Anyway, we haven't got a pitch report necessarily, and that is not on Scott Borthwick or Gordon Much or Rob Rush, who is listening intently, and it's news to him as well, the poor lad. He was looking forward to presenting the pitch report. He did, but unfortunately the audio went down here at the Seat Unique Riverside. What is the pitch looking like, boys?
Well, Gordon got some inside information from the captain, Alex Lees, didn't he?
Oh, God.
So you go on, Much, you fill the people in.
No, so we were just discussing, there's a little bit of live grass on there.
Yeah.
I did think it was quite firm, but Vic put me right and said he was a little bit disappointed. It wasn't as firm as he would have liked. Yeah. And watching Graham Onions try and mitt to the fast balls before, it looks as if it's swinging around a bit because he didn't catch too many when he was mitting. So I think the big thing is the wind direction and the short boundary towards the pavilion side. So the wind normally comes across the scoreboard side, but it's changed around. It's a very, very short boundary towards the pavilion side. So I did cheat, and I spoke to Lizzie on the way out. He says, what do you think? He says, I haven't had a look at the pitch, but looking at the dimensions, we'll probably have a ball first, is what he said.
Well, and you advised him on what? What did you advise? Because apparently you two advised him on 2 different things.
Well, no, then Scott said he would bat first, but we will see. But no, I think Lizzie, we said before, Lizzie's been doing a fantastic job as captain, and he's made some really good decisions. So I'm going to go with Lizzie, and we're going to have a ball first.
I think that's a really smart move. I mean, I sort of disagree with Muchies and say we bat first, but I do think it suits us if we bat second. Yeah. Because as a batting unit last night, we obviously struggled, but I think if we if we bowl first tonight, and then we actually, as a batting unit, we know what we need to chase. It's almost, it clarifies things, it simplifies things to go, right, this is what we need, this is how we need to play. Yeah. And I think sometimes when you do that, like I said, it's just a bit easier. And I think the smaller side, and obviously the wind, it might be tricky to defend.
I was going to say, if anyone is actually watching on their phones and they're in the Don Robson Pavilion tonight, I mean, get your catching gloves out, 100%. I imagine there's going to be a few sixes swung your way tonight, huh? Like, you'd be looking forward to it. Anyway, let's see who was right then. The bad news for Durham is we lost the toss. Notts won the toss. Notts have decided to put Durham in to bat tonight. So, Muchie, that's what you'd have gone for.
No, I was. We were
going to bowl?
We were going to bowl. Well, I think Leesy.
I'm just confused all round, mate. To be honest,
we've gone all round the houses here. In any case, the decision's been taken out of our hands. Yeah. We're going to have a bat. Yeah. Clarkie and Leesy are going to give us a good start. Yeah. We'll go from there.
And it stood us in good stead so far this season, though, hasn't it? I mean, normally it's been the case that Durham have won the toss, decided to have a bat because of favourable conditions. And it's worked out all right for us, Scott, so far.
Yeah, look, like I say, we've got very good players at the top of the order. You know, Leesy and Clark haven't always got off the best starts, but they've got it in them, you know. Like, and I think the main message tonight will be to really assess that wicket early on, and actually assess it quickly and realise what a good score is. Yeah. And sometimes if it is a bit tricky, you know that wickets in hand, you can catch up later on, and especially with that shorter side, with the wind going that way, actually trying not to go too hard too early and save yourself for wickets in hand later in that innings, because if two guys do get in here, it might be really, really hard to stop them from scoring, like I say, with that short side and that wind. So I think it's about being smart tonight with the batting unit.
There's some batsmen in that shed who are licking the chops, aren't there? Yeah. The prospect of that pitch necessarily. Obviously, we announced it earlier, but unchanged tonight, Durham. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how we go. You can see the team on the screen right now. We talked a lot about spin, didn't we, against the Rapids? How big an impact is spin going to have tonight, Muchie? You've seen the pitch now. You're looking at it and thinking it's going to take or not?
I don't think it'll spin too much tonight, actually. No. I think there's a bit of live grass on there. Like you say, it was pretty even coverage. Yeah. I think the pitch report we did last time, there was the odd little dry patch. Yeah. But these are two high-class spinners we've got. Yeah. And they can find a way in any wicket. So I think they will play a big part. I don't know whether it be a wicket-taking option or a contain option tonight, though.
I think as a spinner, you've got to be really smart out there and making sure you're making them hit to the big side. Obviously, easier said than done. But if I was Parky and Souths, I'd be begging Leesy for me to bowl the top end.
That's the conversation now, isn't it? I'll be interested to see. Can we put a microphone in the Durham sheds, or amongst them playing footy, just to hear what is being said most certainly on that. Listen, we're focused on Durham. Let's focus on Notts, because I mean they're bottom of the North Group, which, bearing in mind Notts' pedigree in T20, is a bit of a surprise. Lost their opening 5, so I suppose that makes Durham favourites on paper tonight, but it's not that easy, is it, Mudgy?
I don't think there's any. Well, on paper, you can have a favourite, but if someone has a day out, they've got some high-class players. Joe Clark's obviously been around the world playing 2020 competitions. They're going through a little bit of a transition period, aren't they? They've lost some of the mainstay of the side, and they've got some young lads who've come through the academy and things like that, which is always good to see. But you can't rule anyone out in this competition. They'll obviously. We'd probably go into the game favourites with the bookies or whatever. But, you know, it's whoever performs on the day. And hopefully our boys are ready and raring to go, get us back on that win train.
Daffabet will be all over that, mate. That was a that was a cracker. Absolute cracker. Obviously, we're looking at the team, the group, and it's so tight. Still so tight, even though there's been those 2 road defeats. There's 5 teams probably in the vying for 2 places. Birmingham and Lancashire would arguably make favourites for the top 2. It is ridiculously tight, though, isn't it, Scott? I mean, a win tonight could really put us in pole.
Yeah, definitely. And even that defeat last night brought Yorkshire back in the mix. Yeah. Like if we'd have won last night, we probably would have made Yorkshire not obviously out of the running. But I think if we win tonight and we win on Sunday, because Northampton are ahead of us, so if we take points off them, we'll obviously jump them. I think that could secure it with the 2 wins. Yeah. But it's really tight, and look, like Gordon mentioned it. These are the exciting times. These are the games you want to play in. Yeah. You play this, you win this, and you win on Sunday. Let's say almost cements that top 4. Yeah. But it's really tight. We said it after the first game, didn't we? This North group. Yep. There's some very good sides in it. so anyone can beat anyone. Not so, like you say, the bottom.
Yeah.
But they've got some very fine players. The last 10 years, they've almost been a bit of a powerhouse in this format. So they've got the experience with some of the players. So it's going to be a tough, and like I say, it's a really tough format and a tough group. So we win tonight, win on Sunday. Hopefully that should cement the group.
Absolutely tough group, tough format. It was a tough night last night as well down at Headingley. Obviously Durham got the win at the Seat Unique Riverside on Derby Day, but things didn't quite go to plan down at Yorkshire. Here's the highlights from a difficult evening for your D's.
26 on it, and it's wide of off stump, and yeah, felt like it was going to get the solid treatment it has. Halfway through the second, 9 without loss. Tidy enough start, but there's going to be 4 more here. A ball that was lofted square on the offside. There was a dive at point for it, but moniker on something for the supporters while getting ready for this delivery, which, as it turns out, he's not needed for because it's the other side of the track. I don't know, I'm just trying to put up some suggestions as to what might be as Ben Rain has hauled that one away through Cow Corner. Turner on, it's 68 for 5, and it's Moriarty to bowl his final over of his 4. And that's a top edge down through third man. So
Paddle.
No, he's gone straight down the ground and been caught and bowled. That's a brilliant catch by Nathan Souter. Delader is in for the final ball of the 10th. Short. Oh dear. Oh, David Milan will be absolutely spitting chips. He's put together a really nice looking 29.
Adapting to each conditions.
Dorsh's in. Now he's got underneath this one. Wharton should be caught at mid-wicket and is. Yeah, he walked into it slightly, didn't he? Which.
Well, those Yorkshire highlights disgusted Scott Borthwick and Gordon Mitchell so much they've walked out of the Daffa News studio. Don't worry, we were in for a punditry change anyway. And I'm absolutely delighted that Danny Hazel is back, and it's a Durham Live debut for Rachel Hopkins. How are we doing? We all right?
Hello, good evening. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, not bad. I said I would open this up with something that Danny's just literally said off camera, which is one of the finest quotes I've heard all season. And bearing in mind some of the pundits we've had, that takes some topping. But she's just taken a jumper off. And what did you say, Danny?
I look like a chicken now,
You
don't
look
I?
like a chicken. All right, okay. Well, these cameras aren't that good. It's all right. It's not going to pick that up.
It is, actually.
Listen, we've got to come to you, Rachel, first and foremost. How much are you looking forward to a bit of a punditry debut tonight?
Nerves to begin with.
There's a
I
big
think
pause.
I'll grow into it, I think.
You reckon?
Yeah, I'll grow into it.
Danny, are you going to be coaching her through this one or not?
Oh, no, she's on her own.
She's on her own?
Yeah, she'll be fine. Yeah, she's on her own.
Well, listen, we're going to obviously come on to the game tonight, which is a big game for the men's side here in the Vitality T20 Blast. But obviously, it's been a big few months for the women's side of things as well. Rachel, let's come to you. Obviously, Tier 1 in 2025. How much does that mean to you personally, first and foremost?
Yeah, it was amazing. A really emotional day, actually. Something that the club have put a lot into, and I was really grateful to be part of the process. So, yeah, fantastic news, and can't wait to get going, really.
Absolutely. Rachel, a perfect person as well. Danny, for you as head coach to be working alongside on the pathway?
I'm supposed to say yes, aren't I?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
You can say what you like. You've been on Durham Live before.
Yeah, obviously Rachel's been around at Durham for quite a while now, and she's done a really good job so far, and you're looking forward to working with her over the next few years.
We always talk, don't we, about this fabled Durham Academy, certainly on the men's side. But what about the women's side? How much talent is coming through, Rachel, that you will see on a weekly, daily basis?
Yeah, it's huge. Our talent pool has been growing, and you know, the girls are really excited about what's to come.
Yeah.
Danny and I talk quite regularly now about the girls that we've got in our system, the girls that are in our academy, the girls that are ready to push on to professional cricket. So, yeah, a really exciting time.
So, talking of time, what does the timeline look now, Danny, going up to 2025? Because I imagine, obviously, we're in July, but 2025 is going to be on us very, very quickly indeed, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So, obviously, things kind of move over from November.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's a process now that many players are going through, and it's a process that many haven't been through before. So it's been quite exciting to to be involved in that, and obviously Marcus takes the lead on the players' side of things. So really looking forward to November coming round. But obviously at the moment we've still got the Diamonds and obviously the Northern Superchargers coming up. So it's going to be a busy couple of months before that even comes around, really.
It's an exciting time. We can't wait for it. And we can't wait for tonight's game as well. Huge T20 offering here at the Seat Unique Riverside. Obviously, not Outlaws are in town. Rachel, how do you see this one going tonight?
If the sun comes out and it's 10 degrees warmer, I'm going to go for a Durham win tonight.
If the sun comes... I love the optimism and the positivity.
It's just started to rain, as I've said that.
I know, I just saw that on our windows here in the Daffa News studio. Rain at the Seekneek Riverside in Chester. Danny, what did Durham have to do to get the win? How big a win would be? The boys have just been talking there about how tight the group is.
Yeah, I think it's if we get out there, I think it is a little bit of rain, but I'm sure it'll pass over. But yeah, looking forward to watching. I'm sure it's going to be an exciting game with quite a short side by the looks of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, and obviously Durham batting first, Rachel, with that short side pavilion boundary. We could be in for some big hitting tonight, you would have thought, on Durham Live.
Absolutely. It's quite unusual, isn't it, at Durham, but something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Some maximums, hopefully, for the first innings.
And you've got comms coming up as well, have you? Or are you doing commentary?
No, I'm going to pass over to
Are you escaping?
No, that's Danny's gig.
Oh, don't believe it.
She's all for that.
In for 5 minutes of punditry.
That's it. That's all I need.
We're going to bring you straight back onto Durham Live. You know that, right? We are going to bring you straight back. Do not worry. But yes, Danny, you're heading over to commentary. Rachel, thank you so much for your time tonight. Really appreciate it. I appreciate it was quite brief. But for us, we are waiting to see if Durham can just rectify that form over the last week or so. A win is needed tonight if they want to make the top 4 of the T20 Blast North Group. Can they do it? We shall find out, and we shall find out in the comfortable hands and voices of our commentary team, Scott Borthwick, Gordon Mutchell, and first, Rob Rush.
Thank you very much, Andy. Very good evening to all of you joining us from wherever you are around the world on Durham Live. So to bring you up to date, Durham have lost a toss. Notts Outlaws called correctly, and they have put Durham in. Durham are unchanged from their defeat last night away at Yorkshire, and Notts are also unchanged from their last T20 game, which was a 9-wicket defeat versus Birmingham Bears on Sunday, where they were rolled all out for just 57. And Durham last night also not doing that well with about 107 all out. But Gordon Mutchell, and we've actually got I think it's a debut for commentary here. We've got the Colonel on, Phil Mustard. Nice to have you on.
Good evening, everybody. It's brilliant to be here. Hopefully we can see what's going to happen here, but it should be a good game.
Phil, I'm going to come straight to you first. In T20s, what did you prefer? Did you prefer batting first or chasing?
I was always a chaser, only because I think if you do lose early wickets in the power plays, you get a bit of a second chance, really. So I was always a bit of a chaser, and I would still be a big chaser. It doesn't really matter. T20 wickets can be very similar around the grounds, but I was always a big chaser, and I would also still be a chaser.
As you can see, the teams are now coming out. Alex Lees and Graham Clark leading the way for Durham. Graham Clark leading run scorer in the Blast this year with 303. Muchie, how important is it that Clarkey in particular gets us off to a good start? We all know Alex Lees' qualities, played for England, but Clarkey has led the way in the run scoring department. How important is it for Durham that he gets us off to a good start?
Yeah, I think it's massive. Obviously, after a little bit of an iffy batting performance last night, just to settle a few nerves, if these guys can get going, it'll just ease the dressing room. And I think if you see when Clarkey comes off and you see the results, I think more often than not, when Graham Clark gets runs, Durham win.
Well, looking at the table, Notts currently prop up the North Group. They need to win tonight and win every single game going forward to maintain any chance of qualifying, but their chances even at that are very slim, trying to overturn a net run rate of minus 2.1. It's going to be Matthew Montgomery to start from the Finkel end down away to our left-hand side. We're on pitch 4 for this game. It's quite a far way over. Very good crowd in, though, into the Pavilion Bannatynes Health Club, as Montgomery will get us underway. Immediately turned into the leg side by Graham Clark. So yeah, Durham start this game in 5th place. Level on points with Derbyshire on 11 after their loss last night against Yorkshire. Unfortunately, they sit just behind due to a slightly worse net run rate. How important is it as well that Durham get that win, Colonel, to try and get that net run rate boost?
Yeah, I think all coming down to the back end of the T20, it's always a nervous situation. One win can always get you up to the top, but also if you lose one, you put more pressure on yourself going forward. So I think getting off to a great start in the first power play is crucial, and don't lose many wickets.
Lees defended his first ball out into the offside. That one runs away. Thinking of coming back for a second, but I think it's going to be called as wides, and it is. Muchie, are you slightly surprised that Notts have opted to start with spin here?
No, I think it's what they've used in the past. Just interestingly, that looked like an arm ball and it did swing. and the first one looked as if it gripped a bit. So there's a little bit there for the bowlers, and that one looks as if he's just bowled a little in-swinger there. He's mixing it up all ways here.
Yeah, I've got floodlights on. The weather has worsened since we did that pitch report that has been lost to eternity. Unfortunately, you'll never see that. But when we were out there earlier, as Clark drives this one, they're going to take a quick single, and they'll get home. Yeah, it was a bit more. There was a bit less cloud cover in the air when we did the pitch report just after 5 o'clock. There is some rain just kicking about as well. Hopefully, we'll get a full game in. Here is Lees looks to add to the tally. Just a gentle push down to, looks like deep mid-wicket, and Mudgy talked about it, Colonel, with the shorter boundary being that side. Not so looks like they're protecting that quite heavily on. Was that something that's just bog standard? That's just what you expect with a short boundary?
Yeah, I think obviously they open the bottom with their right and left-handers. Obviously trying to bring the boundary into play.
Clipped and underneath Calvin Harrison. Graham Clark ends the first over with a boundary.
Just gotten stuck by those wicket ends there at the end there. And like you say, for the bowling side, when it just begins to mizzle like this, the ball gets wet, it's hard to grip. So it might not be a bad thing. Come onto the bat a little bit better for the batters as well.
I think there was a game earlier in the campaign as well where it might have been, it was a rain effective one. I can't quite remember who it was against, but Durham, I think, pulled out the win, and it was the bowling second, and the inability to kind of change your lengths and change your speeds because the ball's too wet to grip and stuff, and it just makes it easier for batters like you up. It's going to be Falzak Faruqi to open up from the Lumley end. Looks like he's going to have a slip in place immediately. Looks like Joe Clark's going to put himself in there. Colonel, I can't let this go amiss. You've been playing for England champions in recent days, haven't you?
I have, yes. The World Championship legends I've been playing in the last 10 days. So it's been an interesting 10 days. There's been some big scores in T20 as well for the old guys.
Lees cuts this one. There is protection back out there, and the fielder does well to get to it. How's they come back for a second, going safely? How's the body holding up?
Yeah, no, the body's really good, really very strong. I've never really missed too many games across 17 years of playing cricket, I think. So body's still hanging on, still doing well, but be fair, it's quite an easy thing to do, really. I just stand there, I catch it, and then I throw the ball to the seamers. But batting wise is a little bit more difficult now, but still going strong.
Hit on the pad and just dribbles out into the offside. I think it's Hayden's birthday as well today, isn't it?
It is, yes. Obviously, Hayden is 18 today, so he's an adult now. And he's not down here watching tonight. He decided he'd have a little trip to York Races, so it'll be interesting what happens when he gets back tonight.
I think the rain is still coming down, not as hard maybe as just before we got started, but there is definitely weather about up here in the northeast. What else do you expect? Faruqi's fuller this time, and Lees is able to get back past him. And a quick single. We talk about it all the time, Richie, the left-right hand combinations of the batters, and we saw it yesterday, Ben Rain being jumped up the order to try and keep that variation going. Is that just something that you look, especially in the power play, you try to maximise when you do have right-left hand combinations?
I think obviously with small dimensions as well, with one short side, it helps with that. And also as a bowler, you want to get into a rhythm, and if you're having to constantly change your line for off stump, it doesn't help. I think Faruqi started really well. He's got a couple of comeback into easy, and then that last one's just gone away. So he's getting to go both ways.
And it's gone through him.
Dragged on.
Doesn't need to matter about going both ways. He's gone full in straight, and Graham Clark looks like he's got a inside edge that has rattled his timber, and Durham lose their first wicket.
It's just one of those ones where your eyes light up, probably half volley length, and it's just shaped back, took the inside edge and got onto stumps, which on another day that flies past leg stump, you get 4 runs. But gives Ollie Robinson a good chance to come in here and make a mark on this competition. He's had an absolute stellar championship, hasn't quite got going in this competition, so hopefully today his day.
I think he's had a pretty good season all round. I think obviously I'm sure he was disappointed a few weeks ago not getting in that the test side. So I think he's got a bit of a point to prove in in all forms of the game, and hopefully he can carry on to do some good scores in the longer format. But he does need to work hard on the T20 stuff.
As part of the reason why he moved permanently to the North East. He joined for the 2022 Blast on loan from Kent and was shipping back and forth. And then his contract came up to an end at Kent, and he enjoyed the prolonged run in the T20 side he had up here, and then decided to make the move permanent. And as I say, the rest is history. As we alluded to, that hasn't quite set the Blast on fire yet so far this campaign. And, well, you can look at it both ways. You can look at it, he's in too early, or he's got an opportunity to build an innings and really carry Durham to a strong total if he can go about his business. That one he had to square up and defend immediately.
Yeah, I think the way he plays, I think is quite positive. So if you can get him up there in the power plays, I think that's a good place for him to be, because he likes to play his shots, and if the field's up a little bit, offside, leg side, I think he's got the power to hit it through the field as well.
Similar, the debate has been with Josh Buttler with England. It's been, does he open or does he bat down at 4? And it seems like Ollie Robinson maybe last year was coming a bit too low down the order as Faruqi's in, and Robinson is tempted to flick on, but be given as a wide. So you'd agree that Robinson's better served coming in as early as... Obviously, you don't want to expose him too early. You don't want him out there first couple... You don't want him out there, ideally, in that first over as an opener, but you want him in as like 3 or 4.
I think he's got to be up the order. I think the skill levels he's got, I think he needs to be up in the top 5, top 6. But I believe he's got the talent to do that as well.
Durham 14 for 1 coming towards the end of the second over. That one just misses Lees' outside edge, fortunately for the Durham skipper, and it remains 14 for 1 after 2. Colonel, how difficult is it when you are a wicketkeeper batter and you have to bat first, and then you're out there as Ollie is right now after 1.5 overs, and you could now be out there for the remainder of the game?
Yeah, I think you as a wicketkeeper, you always want to be in the game. Obviously, I did a lot of my career at the top of the order in the T20 Blast, and I thought I put myself in a good shape of form when I went to the top of the order. So I found my niche. I might have got in there a little bit lucky early in my career, but I managed to hold it down. And obviously, if you're in the game from ball 1, you always want to be in the game at the end as well.
Change of bowling. Ollie Stone is into the attack, and Ollie Robinson is flicking his namesake on the first name basis down the leg side for 4 runs.
Yeah, so I think for me it's a key for wicketkeeper getting into the game. It doesn't matter if it's in one day's T20. I think if you get your wicketkeeper in the game, they tend to be match winners.
Is it a bit of a nerve settler as well, would you say? I'm not sure if you ever dealt with nerves. You don't strike me as the type of guy that would, but little bit of a nerve settler as well.
Yeah, you're always nervous when you bat. You still do now.
Again, flicked leg side. It looks like that's going to be back-to-back boundaries for Durham's wicketkeeper. Stone not just finding his length straight away, and Robinson's quick to pounce.
I think this seems to be a very spicy wicket. There's a little bit of turn, a little bit of seam. I think it's going to be a very challenging power play for the boys. I think if they can get through the power play, try and get the ball a little bit softer and a bit wet, I think that's going to be our best chance to get a good score here.
That's it. It's definitely nipped around, hasn't it? Them 2 little inside edges for 4 definitely settle the nerves.
This one rides up and it's a quick single. Well backed up at the striker's end.
Just bounced a bit, that one as well, didn't it? Obviously, Ollie Stone, I think, was talked a little bit about getting in this test squad.
Injuries have just unfortunately
probably just a little bit soon for him. But I think
he played out in India when England toured there. I want to say just after COVID, and he did pretty well. But it's just injuries have always constantly been his bear bug. You can never really shrug them. But it's good to see him back out there at the minute, even though he's in for short form stuff rather than the long form. I'm sure that's not too far away for him as Lees looks for a drop and run, and after a quick deliberation, he decides it's the right call.
Great call for Robinson there, just a sneak one. Obviously, when it is nipping round, if you can keep rotating that strike, like you say, right hand, left hand, the bowler can't settle. So that's big thing.
You mentioned with the shorter boundaries and the right up combo. Is that just a conversation you have out in the middle, or who's maybe got the shots and the strength to take on that shorter boundary? Is that just a conversation you have when you're out there?
Not really. I think it's.
That one again rides up and Robinson sends Lees back.
I think everybody out there can play the shots whatever they want to do, and it all depends on the bowler. If it's a spin bowler, somebody might play certain shots a different way. If it's a seamer, I remember opening the bat with Mark Stoneman. He used to play seam very, very well, and I used to tend to let him have the seamers because he played them well till I got in, and if it was spin, I'll try and get myself in that way.
10 off the over so far, and it will remain 10 off the third over. 24 for 1. Stone's first over goes for that 10. Muchie, what do you reckon halfway through the power play? What's your respectable score?
Like I said,
I'm not going to ask you for your respectable wickets because we know what's going to happen as soon as you say that.
I need to be careful what I say in this.
At this point, I think we might have to make an executive decision and ban you from commentary at some point.
At certain points, at the end of the power play, I normally get us a wicket the wrong way and other bits and bobs. No, I think, like you said, with that short side, it is nipping around. I think we've got to get 170 minimum, and I think 200 still in the game.
Quick single taken, direct hit.
Wow, unbelievable fielding from.
Very, like you say, very good piece of fielding, and Lees had just made his ground.
Number 12, is it?
Ben Martindale.
Martindale.
In on the discs at mid-on.
Another fantastic run. It's not easy for the umpires in these slippy conditions, but I'm not choosing the best position to give that run out there. He was definitely home from here.
No bias in this commentary box, is there? Ooh, that's a Jaffa and just skips past the outside edge.
They seem to be mixing the bowlers up quite a bit. Obviously, you start with the spinner. Had a little bit of a look around, see if it was spinning. And then they've rotated the seamers quite nicely, I think. I think as an opening batter, if you have got the same bowler on for maybe 2 or 3 overs, it does get a lot easier. But I think the way they're going about the game now is the right way about it, because I think the pitch has got a little bit in it and you can't really settle on the same bowler.
It'll be interesting to see if Faruqi, this is his second over on the bounce. Does he come back for a third? And Ollie Robinson, that's a glorious drive. He'll come back for 2. Slight misfield on the discs, and what arguably should have been a dot ball for Notts ends up being a couple of runs for Durham.
I think it will be interesting to see what they do with the overseas play here, because I think the back end, if we can keep wickets in hand, that is going to be the pressure time, and probably when you're going to want him to come on from this end and shut that short side down.
Well, we all know Michael Jones' last home game produced a brilliant finishing role against Worcestershire Rapids. I think it was 30 off 17. He cashed in on some bad line and lengths towards the end of the innings. That's a slower ball. Robinson chips it up, but it's going to land safe.
But like Phil says, there's plenty in it there, and do they gamble on trying to get a couple of wickets in this power play, or do they hold them back for the back end? Philip, as a former captain, what would you be doing?
I think if they...
Are you coming for my role, Mitchie? That was going to be my question.
if they can get through the power play unscathed, with probably maybe 1 or 2 wickets down, then I think you use your overseas as a linchpin whenever you need to. But until we can get through the first 6, I think it's a very difficult decision to make, because
a big appeal for call behind, but it's going to be called a wide instead. Slip has come out for Faruqi. He did start with Joe Clark in there, but has now pulled it out.
I was very impressed with the way Jones played against Worcester boys. I think he came in late on and finished it remarkably well. Obviously, we've seen a little glimpse of it when he played in the World Cup, but it's really the first time I've really seen him show it in live. I was here watching it, and I thought he was amazing.
Faruqi, he just wants to. He's tinkering with his field here. He's sending deep mid-wicket. Well, he's sending a man now out to deep mid-wicket, which means the guy at backward point for Alex Lees has got to come in onto the discs. Slow full toss. It's going to be a quick single again. Lees makes his ground.
I really enjoy that field when they bring everybody up on the offside.
What would you been thinking as left-hander there, Colonel?
I'll be thinking I'll be trying to go over the offside field. Oh, I'll be backing away from outside leg stump. I'll be trying to go over the offside field, but that does bring everything into play. You've got the chance of boundary, you've got a chance of getting bowled. It brings a lot of it's a big risk.
It's the risk reward factor.
It's a risk reward factor, but
Farooqi finishes off the 4th over. That's chipped again and will just land safe of the man in at short mid-wicket for Ollie Robinson. He's got 12, Lees has 7, Durham are 30 for 1 with 2 overs left in the power play.
Looks a bit like it's a two-paced pitch, I think. There's quite a few just stopped on the batter who can't quite get in line with it.
But that will open up, as you said, Robinson being out there quite early on, be able to see these conditions, and I think you might see a bit slightly more acceleration now from Durham, these final 2. Ollie Stone will continue for his 2nd over from this end.
And it was similar last game. It seemed to bounce more from this end, and the odd ones kept low. Hasn't carried through to the keeper there, but I think they have been changing the pace quite well as well.
Alex Lees has the short side from this end, but he's now jabbing that one down towards long leg for a comfortable single. Spoke to Vic before the game, and he said he reckoned 170 as a pass score. Would you be happy with that, Colonel?
Yeah, I'll be very happy with 170 on this pitch. I think the Durham bowling lineup could make use of a pitch that does a little bit. I'll be happy with 170. I'll be over the moon 170 looking at the pitch.
Slightly fuller from Stone, and Robinson's able to push off the back foot and use that momentum to get down the other end.
It normally puts up a good feast, this fixture, not v Durham. I remember playing in a few of these back in the day, and I think there was one where we somebody caught somebody on the line and jumped over, and it wasn't a 6 or a 4.
I was going to say, what was there? Was that a contentious one?
Well, there was a bit of a shebang with the crowd and everybody else, but yeah, we've had a few good games against Nottinghamshire.
These jabs this one towards fly slip.
Good word, Colonel. Shebang.
He's a natural at this commentary stuff.
Is that in the dictionary, that one?
Oh, I think it's in the Phil Mustard dictionary for sure. Who you mentioned then the good games. Who did both of you enjoy getting up for the Yorkshire game, because it's technically the closest game we have as a rival? Was that the game that you got up for, or was there a certain opponent that you knew you were able to get up more for?
There was always opponents where you do well against, and there's opponents that you always do rubbish against.
Stone looking to do well against Robinson, who pushes him and well fielded, but also run it right. So what were those teams then, Colonel? What was the one that you got up for and did well against, and who's the one that kind of had your number?
Well, Yorkshire, I think I never really did very well at Yorkshire. I never did much at Henley, but when they came to Chelsea Street, it was a bit of a different ball game. I tend to have a bit of a
was that your get
a bit
back?
Of a comfort.
Was that your get back?
I had a bit of a comfort zone when we played at home. So I always seem to do pretty well against Yorkshire.
Stone is in, and Lees drops the bat. It looks like it's just going to be a single. They might look for 2, but smartly just sent for 1.
Oh.
Maybe a buzzard, but well backed up. And for you, Mitchie, who was the team that you maybe enjoyed going up against the most?
I think, like you said, Yorkshire was always the big one where you got the best crowd. Obviously, they've got the Roses, but it was our derby, and that was always a good one. I remember a good game at Scarborough where we got home in a close game, and I managed to get a few runs. That was one of the highlights of my career.
Oh, well played.
That's good. But speaking about this fixture, there's one person I'm pleased isn't playing today.
Stone is in. That's a bouncer. Is the umpire going to call it wide? He's not.
Because Alex Hales quite enjoys a day out against Durham.
Well, that brings to an end Muchie, and I think is Colonel, you staying on for this one?
I don't know the answer.
Well, anyway, there is going to be a change in the commentary box. I'm very pleased to bring in Red Bull skipper Scott Borthwick. Scott, how do you sum up this first 5 overs from our point of view?
I think it's actually not a bad start from us. I mean, look, we haven't gone all guns blazing, and we haven't got off to a fly with the run rate. But having watched it, it doesn't look the easiest pitch to score on. I think the seamers have actually hit the wicket alright, and it looks a bit too paced. It's not a wicket where you can probably whack it through the length and sort of get on top of the bounce and hit hard, strong shots. So I think the main thing is we've only lost 1 wicket. Like I say, we've only gone at 7 and over, but I think it's quite a smart little start from Leesy and Robbo. This got a couple of boundaries there, but I think it's just really important that we assess this wicket and actually keep wickets in hand and take it as deep as we can.
Well, we have had a double change up in the commentary box. Danny Hayes was alongside. Do you echo those thoughts, Danny, from Scott?
Yeah, we were just sitting along the other end having a watch, and yeah, it looks like it's kind of had to stick in and see if we can put a good total on the board.
Montgomery has switched ends and Lees is playing him down to long on for a single.
To be fair, Rob, we were in the next room eating custard creams.
Oh, why you got to bring that into it now,
I told you
Scott?
not to say that.
In case any of you are wondering what it's like being a pundit, it's a lot easier life to be a commentator. I can give you that much. What do Durham need to be looking at for these next 5 balls as Montgomery's into Robinson, who takes the aerial route, lands just safe, and it's a good stop on the boundary by the field. I think it's Calvin Harrison out there. He's making up for his earlier blunder and a comeback.
I think that's the first time we've seen any intent towards that short side, which I think just sort of says how hard it is to actually hit the ball hard on this surface. Like I say, it has been really two-paced and a bit stoppy. I think this would be a good opportunity for Robbo to try and target that short side with the off-spinner ball in here.
Well, that's going to be called a wide.
Yeah, you can see what Montgomery's trying to do. He's trying to take it away from Robbo's arc and eye line of middle leg stump. He's trying to chuck it as wide as he can. But yeah, I think it's a good opportunity for Robbo to have a target that short side.
He's gone offside here. It's going to bounce just short, and the misfield will allow a relatively comfortable single in the end. I think if that had gone straight to hands, Danny, there might have been a mad dash on it at the non-striker's end.
Looks like there's a little bit of weather out there. Ball seems to be skidding on a little bit. I think we've seen a couple of fumbles so far, so it looks like it's not the easiest day to be fielding out there.
3 balls left of the power play. Graham Clark went at 12 to bring Notts their first wicket. That one's going to be pushed down. It might come back for 2. It's a very quick turnaround. And Scott, you know Ollie Robinson. I want to put something to bed here because you've come out as the runner in the Red Bull side when guys needed a runner because they've been injured. I think Bryden Cast last year as well needed you as runner. If you and Robbo were to race, do you have him over that distance? Over like the pitch of the wicket? Do you have Robbo in the race? As Montgomery's in now to Lees, who just drops something
2
for a
more.
single.
Go on, Robbo. Turn and go. Great running. Get in.
It is a turn and go, and Robbo again shows his pace.
Great running.
After those 2 balls, are you as confident in your answer?
I think I am 10 years older than him.
Right, okay. Well, that's the first excuse out the book.
I mean, I think I might have him covered. Can I just say, the reason why I run is because nobody else wants to do it.
End of the power play. Lees will retain the strike. Durham finish 45 for 1 from their 6 overs. Robinson 17 off 15 and Lees a runnable 16.
Yeah, not a bad power play. Look, I said we haven't gone all guns blazing, but I think we've assessed the conditions quite quickly. And I think we probably learnt from last night where we probably didn't do that. We went hard early and we lost wickets in the power play, which we all know if you lose wickets in the power play, the T20, it's really hard to claw it back. So I think we've done the smart thing here. Like I say, we've only scored 45, but we've still got 9 wickets in the tank. We've now got 2 guys who are in, who got used to the surface. These 2 keep ticking over and build a bit of a partnership, then that gives us the platform to go hard. I think if 2 set batters are on this wicket, come towards the end of the innings, they can really target that short side.
Yeah, well,
I think that's been the thinking throughout the power play.
It's going to be another change. Ollie Stone has been whipped out the attack after his first 2 overs. Lyndon James is going to come into attack. He's got the white ball skipper for Durham, Alex Lees, in his sights. There's an LBW shout first up, and that actually is going to run away for 4 leg byes. No reward there for Lyndon James.
It's just flying in the southfield, isn't it? As soon as the ball, there's a little bit of range, just really spice it up a little bit. And I think if, hitting hard into them pockets today, it's probably going to be 4. So I think this platform is really good to push on into these kind of next couple of overs to see where they are after 8 or 9 overs, really.
Absolutely.
Does that just go into your dialogue out there in the middle when you know that it's maybe flying off the bat a bit bit faster and skidding on, as Alex Lees looked like he was lining one up to go all
That's
the way
a great
over
shot.
Cal corner, but instead it has gone all the way along the floor for 4. Very good shot from Durham's white ball skipper, brings the 50 up.
Yeah. Great shot.
So yeah, does that kind of, that skidding on, does that just go into your communication out in the middle with who you're batting with? Is like, the pitch is doing this, we need to try and target this area?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think obviously you can see Robinson's absolutely rapid, isn't he? So getting the ball into them pockets and hits it hard, now he's going to get 4. If not, he's guaranteed to get 2. So yeah, it looks like as soon as that ball gets out and equally, then it's a bit harder for the bowlers as well.
Lees goes back over the bowler's head, and this time when he picks up another 4, Lyndon James has gone for 12 from his first 3 deliveries. It's not been a nice welcome into this act for him.
Great shot again from Lees, wasn't it? Lovely check drive. He hits the ball so hard, Lees, you know. I mean, he's obviously a top order batter in red ball, and he's a very good one at that, but he sort of goes under the radar how hard he hits the ball. Like, he's thumped those 2 down the ground, hasn't he?
He has indeed, showing all of his brute strength. 24 now for him. He shows it again. He winds up. That one's just going to be a single out to Cal corner. So bring Robinson on strike. Obviously, power play done. Notts can now spread the field out. Looks like they're going to protect the leg side for both of these batters. Ollie Robinson's got, on the leg side, he's got deep mid-wicket and deep backwards square to contend with. As well as Ollie Stone, who's down just in front of us.
Fine leg has gone back as well, which tells you that Lyndon James is probably going to try and hit the ball into the surface, maybe hip height. Or not. Hit the ball down the ground.
Slightly fuller there. Made you look like a bit. He made you look a bit suited there, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get it wrong. But yeah, I think from bowling from this end towards the right-handers, you're going to try and make the right-handers hit the ball into the long side, and obviously to ball into Lees here, you're going to try and make him hit the ball through the offside. You see third man up, deep pointer's gone back there.
Yeah.
You almost want left-handers to hit the long side and keep that short side out of play as much as possible.
Is it the same as what Montgomery's doing, trying to keep out of his
Yeah,
arc?
I think so, yeah, definitely.
Switch to come around the wicket now to Alex Lees, and he does just that.
Yeah.
Be a single for the captain. He'll retain the strike. See, sometimes, Scott, it works out for you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, sometimes easy set up here, isn't it? Good over though, wasn't it? Good over. What was it? Is it the 3 boundaries and a couple of singles? So
set the tempo early.
Yeah, absolutely.
Set what he wanted to do.
Yeah, and I think, like I said early on, it's these guys now have earned the right to have a go now. Like they've got a bit of a platform. That they know the pace of the wicket. I think you'll see Leesy try and target when he's batting at the bottom end, and then Robbo might try and target when he's at this end and try and utilise that short side.
It looks like it's going to be another change. It looks like Calvin Harrison's going to take over duties from the Lumley end. Danny, we spoke to Vic before the game, and he said 170 was around a par score. Would you agree with that? Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I think the small side's maybe going to have a factor today. I think it's probably going to be the bowlers that are wise enough and got the guile to kind of keep it out the way of that boundary. But I think Durham will be pretty happy with that.
Harrison's going to start off by hitting a single to Alex Lees, and now that brings Ollie Robinson with that short side. Is it just same on, just trying to keep out of that arc for him?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he'll try and make Ollie Robinson almost play the cut shot and try and make it hit it to deep cover, deep point. That's what you'd be looking to try and do as a spinner, I think. Something like that. Good bit of bowling, smart ball. He's done really well the last couple of years, Calvin Harris for Notts. He's been a bit of an under radar signing, hasn't he? He's done really well across all 3 formats for them.
That single brings up the 50 partnership. It's been a steady rebuilding job from these two after Graham Clark went after 1.5 overs of the game. 50 partnership of just 34 deliveries. So Alex Lees now chops that one down to long on.
So I think can Robbo walk across his stumps here and target that short side?
Looked like he wanted to, but the ball just didn't allow it. Didn't set up for
Again,
him.
smart bit of bowling, wasn't it? Sort of probably saw him move and then dragged it even wider. Looked like a bit of spin there as well, actually.
It's all quite early on. There was a bit of, whether it's due on the pitch from the little outburst we had. That one's full toss, but Robinson's not able to take full advantage. looks like there is something there for the bowlers, even as we get towards, move towards the halfway stage of the innings.
Oh, great shot.
There's that cut shot again that you were saying, Scott, about how Harrison trying to force Robinson to play. It's a good first over for the Notts leg spinner. Just 4 from it, 4 singles, 64 for 1 after 8 overs. And actually he wants a towel and he wants to change of gloves.
See, I think this is a little bit of sort of what Lees is doing here. He's obviously getting a drink, he's getting a towel on his head, drying down, but he's also giving feedback to Paul Colin there, and feeding back to the lads and to Campbell what he thinks is a good score.
Yeah.
Yes, we've had a really good start here, but it's like, right, the boys in the dugout, Campbell, they know what the guys are thinking out there. Yes, Lees has had a drink, but he's obviously all passed on a bit of information on what the guys are seeing out in the middle.
You mentioned on the runner thing that you do it because no one else does too. With the guy who runs the drinks on, how does that? Is that just random selection as well, or is it one guy in
it's generally the 12th men, isn't it?
But amongst the 12th men, is there like a nominated one?
Generally in red ball, it's the guys take turns, especially if we're batting. You only really need the one. Guys generally take turns.
Lyndon James takes all the pace off that, short, wide and slow, when Robinson has to kind of sit back on it.
I think unless as well, if you're sending a message out there, you want to send someone that can repeat the message. You don't want to send someone that is not going to carry the message out or forget when they get out there.
Yeah, we've had a few of them. If you want a clear message sent out, you send certain people.
Yeah.
If you want somebody just to, say hello and just make sure everything's still functioning well, you send a different person.
Yeah.
Full from James, and Lees digs it down towards Ollie Stone. For a single, I'm trying to work out. So he's got 4 men on the leg side for, 4 on the leg side at the minute for Lyndon James to Ollie Robinson, really protecting that deep boundary. Robinson goes aerial, and he's gone. Tried to get it just over mid-off. Maybe the lack of boundaries just playing on Robinson's mind. Good comeback from Lyndon James after his first over was quite expensive. He's gone a bit wider of a length, a bit slower as well, and Ollie Robinson not able to evade the fielder. He departs for 21 from 22. Durham lose their second.
Yeah, shame from Robbo. I think they're just building a nice partnership one there. But got a bit of bowling from Lyndon James. He's obviously, he realised that the big side's the leg side. He's trying to bowl into the wicket, slow balls. Robbo just give himself a bit of room there and try to go over mid-off, and I think he hit it pretty well, didn't he? I think it sounded like he middled it. He just didn't quite get the elevation or the height, did he? It's a bit unlucky, but nice little innings from Robbo. That, like I say, it's only a runnable 21, but good partnership with Leesy, and give us that bit of platform, hasn't he?
Yeah, and also he's not exposed the rest of the middle order coming in from
I think that's
too slow, too soon, and that's kind of what we saw last night.
Yeah,
once that middle order gets exposed, then you have a bit of a jumping through hoops act a little bit as Ben Rain is jumping up the order.
Yeah, and I think, like you say, you never want to lose wickets in clunks in T20s.
Yeah.
And when we haven't batted well this season, that's what we've done. So just having a little 50-run partnership there of 35 balls, I think was brilliant.
54 that partnership. Colin Ackermann is in at number 4 and he defends this one out into the offside. Danny, we've seen Colin Ackermann. He's been able to go through the gears at various points of innings. How do you think he's going to approach his first 5 balls here? Is he just going to kind of maybe hand over a bit to Alex Lees and let him do the majority of the work as he kind of just gets settled in?
Well, nobody's really got away yet. It looks like it's quite hard to get going on this pitch. So it'll be interesting to see how they work it between them, really.
Lovely looking drive from Ackermann. He's away. Second ball again looked like out the back of the hand there from Lyndon James. A bit of a slower ball. I think that might become a bit more of a common theme as we get towards the end of the innings. Just trying to use the subtle variations.
Yeah, definitely.
Line and lengths.
Definitely. Well. I think when it's a surface that is a bit too paced and a little bit stoppy, your slow balls, your cutters, even sort of cross seamers can play a part and actually quite hard to get on top of.
And Alex Lees, unfortunately, tried to swing across the line. Lyndon James kept it straight and full and true to its words, and Alex Lees sees his leg stump ripped out the ground, and Lyndon James picks up 2 in the over, just what Nottinghamshire needed They needed to go bang bang, and then James has provided just that. Lee's gone for 29.
Yeah, not great. Not the timing of that was. I mean, yeah, Leesy's obviously saw it in the slot and thought there's my opportunity to score. So his thinking was probably right, but you never want to lose 2 wickets in over, do you? Especially after such a good partnership. So that's a shame, isn't it? But now we've got a bit of a rebuild again with AT and Colin here.
So you mentioned the rebuild. I'm not sure there are 2 batters in this lineup I'd want to have out there for a rebuild in these 2. Maybe David Bedingham, but he's
not a bad one, is he?
Yeah, he's currently nursing a minor injury before he sets his eyes on a South Africa Test tour or South Africa Test series into August, and Colin Ackermann's going to have Calvin Harrison bowling to him from the Lumley end here as Gordon Mitchell decides that he doesn't care about the background sound coming through on the microphones as he slams the door through, and Calvin Harrison into Ackermann, who pushes him down to...
Probably got to take a bit of time again here now and just kind of build a little partnership to again give themselves a platform. But again, I still think there's runs out there. I think Durham's bowlers also be pretty excited about the second half in terms of being a little bit of spin, a little bit of toothpaste, and right up Ben Rain Street tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'd be really interesting to what Leesy and Robbo are now thinking what a good score is.
Yeah.
And they might have come off and gone, right, look, 170, 180 is a really good score. That's why Leesy's probably done that and up the tempo a bit and thinking, right, we need to get on with it a bit. So that'd be really interesting to see what the guys are thinking out there.
Back of a length from Harrison, and Turner's off the mark. It could also be a night for Turner with the ball as well. A bit of a part-time option who can be used when needed. Same with Ackermann.
Yeah.
Not always needed, but available if Lees does decide to use them. Gotta say, I do agree with you, Johnny. I think this is Ben Rain. This is Ben Rain's type of game as Ackermann pushes this one away. It'll just be a single down to long on.
I saw Turner bowling some leg spin in the warm-up this morning. Earlier before the game. So a bit of a mixed bag and a couple of off spinners, a couple of leg spinners.
So you're trying to copy Liam Livingstone and bowl?
Yeah, he might be. Yeah. I mean, look, I think he's got the skill set to do that. He's a very skillful player, isn't he?
Just pushes this one out to deep cover. And that ends the 10th. Or does it end the 10th? No, I went too early there. One ball left.
Six balls and over, Rob.
Cheers, Scott. Do you want to come sit in this seat now?
No, mate, I'm going to eat some custard creams after this.
Ackermann pushes this one back, and now that is the official halfway point of the innings. Durham 72 for 3 after Lyndon James picks up 2 overs, and I'm kicking Scott out. Scott can go and enjoy his custard creams now. So 72 for 3 at the halfway point for Durham, as I've got the pleasure of Gordon Mutchell and the Colonel coming back. Mutchie, is it nice that you've not had any jokes about the size of your head yet?
No, I actually quite enjoyed. Please don't tell Thorpe you can.
Well, I have it on good authority that Ash Thorpe is listening and tuning in, so I think that'll be coming back to bite you.
I don't understand Mutchie.
James in and turned away. This might be one that they have to push for 2. They look like they've gone off with that intent in mind, and they will get comfortably back for 2 there.
We talk about every time. He just eats the ground up, doesn't he, Turner? He's about 3 strides and he was back in. But no, obviously a little bit of rebuilding to be done here. Like we say, losing those wickets in clusters is normally a stumbler for the run rate. But 2 very experienced batters in here. This is all big periods, aren't they? But this is a good time for Durham just to get moving again.
Ackermann sets and punches away, but deep backward point is out there.
I think you made a good point. Good point there, Much. I think the run rate, obviously we lost 3 wickets, but I think the run rate 7.3. If you can keep it to a 7.38 up until about 13 overs, and then with a few wickets in hand, I think that's when you can start turning up the pace a little bit. But up until that point, I think these 2 have to just keep going 7 or 8 and over, and getting us over 100, and then see where that takes us about 13 overs out.
Flicked away off the hips, so it'll just be a single. Looked like they might have considered coming back for 2 there. Ian James has responded quite well from being hit for his first 3 balls going for 12. He then responded with 2 for 6 from his remaining deliveries. How important is that for Joe Clark that he's able to trust that his bowlers, even if they go for early runs, are able to come back and take wickets as he's looking for his 3rd here? Colin Ackermann will punch him out. So yeah, Muchi, I'll put that at you. How important is it that Joe Clark has faith in his bowlers to keep on going?
As a captain, obviously you're going to set a field, you're going to have that plan, and if you don't, it's quite hard to hit it straight away. So he's obviously nestled into a bit of a spell here, and again he's bowled a couple of balls there which have cut quite hard, but the way we've got the field set, that is maybe the plan. And as you say, your captain, you've just got to keep backing your bowler, and I'm sure he looks a confident young lad.
Pulled round the corner, definitely 1, and it will just remain 1.
And with his sweepers set square, he's definitely going to go into the pitch and make you cut and pull. He doesn't want you to get that step hit you talk about in 2020 cricket.
Yeah.
Your hands through one. Maybe it's just to get over that mid off who's inside the circle.
They're not seem to have made it a very key point throughout the innings so far of protecting the leg side, no matter which end's bowling from, which bowlers. Only 1 man out on the offside for both of these right-handers, and Ackermann is going to find him here out at deep backward point, but the leg side has been heavily protected as another over is finished and Durham are 79 for 3. The leg side seems to be protected. Is that something you reckon Notts have, when they've done a bit of their homework, they've had a week between games?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the normal field now in T20 cricket is you bring your fine leg up and you possibly have 3 men out. You'll have mid on, mid off, mid on, deep mid wicket and deep square leg, I think. And that's naturally, and they're happy to give the batters 2s. If they can get 2 out of it, because it's such a big boundary.
It all just is about restricting boundaries.
It's all about restricting boundaries, and if you can restrict the boundaries, and that field, you see that around the country, that sort of field, and if they can keep that field and get it down to 2, they're happy.
Might be 2 here for Ackermann. I think he's sent back wisely by Turner. Ackermann a runnable 10, and Turner just getting going 4 or 5.
As you can see, they've got the field this side as well, but it is a bit more of a shorter boundary.
And Turner goes for the slog sweep. He was eyeing up the Health Club and maybe the Pavilion as well, and doesn't get all of it. Go down as leg buys.
The modern day cricketer now, they see field and they just want to hit it over them.
They almost take it a bit personally.
Oh, absolutely.
I reckon I can do that. This is punched off the back foot out into the covers.
Have you ever played cricket, Rob?
Played a bit when I was younger, but haven't played in a while. No.
Have you not?
It's good. He's not really given much flight, is he, at the moment?
Yeah. Everything's into the surface.
He's into the surface, not leaving those stumps. That'll be his game plan. Like I say.
Like I say, as long as you can restrict the boundaries, but I think if he bowls too much into the surface at this end and just gets one delivery wrong, as that one is again another one that's on line and length, but if he gets one wrong bowling into the surface from this end, he does have the short side that both having 2 right-handers, they can both line this short side up.
And that's what Turner was looking for, not that ball, the ball previous in the over.
Hit back right at Harrison.
Leg spin is a very tricky art, isn't it? I think obviously leg spin, you got the googly, you got a flipper, you've got the normal leggy, and you've got change of pace. So if you can bowl googlies and flippers and everything, the batter can't line you up.
Over the bowler's head, and that will be a well-needed boundary for Durham. Colin Ackermann hits his first of the innings. Durham move now into the 80s. Harrison maybe going just a bit too full, and Ackermann able to capitalise.
That was a much-needed boundary. I think.
Yeah, they've gone the wire without just going ones and twos.
Yeah.
And
so that was a much-needed boundary moving forward. So hopefully we can get through this next over up to about 13.
Especially the last ball of the over as well. Obviously the bowling side is you want to get out. It's very what you want to get out of overs really well. So if you can end an over on a boundary, then
absolutely
you can maybe start to move that momentum. Such a buzzword in T20s.
It's a bit of a cat and mouse game, really. Obviously, you bowl 5 very good balls, and you think, right, just get out the over,
and then
get out the over. Then all of a sudden you change your plan, you change what you're trying to achieve. But it happens quite a lot, a boundary off the last over. The batter's trying to go for it, but the bowler's trying not to get hit.
Liam Patterson-White into the attack for the first time for Notts, and he's going to go for a single first ball. He's been held back for quite a while. He's now into the 13th over, and he's only now just coming to attack. Left arm, I think he's orthodox spin. He's got a favourable matchup, I guess you could say here. Both right-handers, but they're both hitting to the longer boundary. Although if he does, he's going to try and guess much. He's going to try and cramp them up for room on that leg side.
That's it. You've got him sort of middle and leg. That first ball, he did give a little bit more flight. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes.
Another push out onto the offside. Is this a case, Colonel, do you reckon, of because it's his first over, they're trying to save some of those pace overs for the end? Lyndon James only got one left, and he's gone pretty well. Is maybe Joe Clark thinking, I need to keep him back for the end of the game as Patterson-White is in again?
I think he's got a really strange action. He goes over like a bit of a round army action sort of thing. So looking at the action, looking what I'll be doing as a batter sort of thing, I think he'll be trying to get it into the pads. So trying to take the big boundary on.
Quick single and a misfield eventually allows it to turn into a comfortable one.
Similar stature to Samit Patel, who was a fantastic 2020 player for Notts. Yeah, absolutely. Very, very similar. Similar action. Rushes you a little bit, got a bit of a short arm jab sort of thing bowling. And I think that's what they're trying to replace him with.
Turner looked like he shuffled across his stumps for that one, trying to maybe access that short boundary. As a right-hander facing the left arm spin, I would be trying to look at that extra cover. If I can get my hands through here to try and get it over that extra cover boundary, and I think that's what Turner's sweating on. But he's bowled very well so far, keeping that ball sort of leg stump, not letting it get the hands free. There's deep backward point again. Out on the sweep.
You were very good at that shot though, weren't you, Muchie? You used to come down and go over extra cover quite a lot, and not everybody can play that sort of shot, and I could never do it as a left hand. I don't know why, I don't know the reason why, but I could never play that shot. But you've got Muchie was very good at playing that shot, and obviously you've played with him many times and you watch him play that shot and you still can't compete with it. But is there a skill set to that, Gordon, or not?
Or does it just come naturally?
I think it was. I came into out a little bit when I batted, and I think actually playing rugby and doing sort of drop kick, and I was a fly half. I think that timing of the sort of bounce and hitting, I found it quite easy to get under the ball.
Quick single, potentially direct hit. Ackermann might have been in trouble, but he escapes unharmed for a single. Would you say then, Colonel, as a left-handed batter, you're always strong? Would you say that you are stronger off on your leg sides?
Absolutely.
Made a career out of it.
If you look at my shots, there's not many offside shots. I give you that.
Full and a lot of flight in that one, and Turner trying to set off for a single that I think in reality was never ever on the cards, and very correctly sent back by Colin Ackermann.
Yeah, that might have been a bit of a disaster at this moment in the game, I think. But they go along nice. You get ourselves to 100, and then start again from there.
There's one more to the tally. 95 for 3.
One thing Ryan Campbell always talks about, we've talked about before, is he problem solving. It came up again in his press conference last night on Yorkshire, not being able to sum up the wicket and work out a way of getting a winning total.
Ackermann looked like he was eyeing up the roof of that Bannatynes there, and just unfortunately inside edge into the surface.
And I think Turner's just at the point now in innings where you look up and you always want to be run a ball, better than a run a ball. I think he's going to have to use his experience here. If he can just, like Colonel says, bat another 3 overs and set that platform for Jones and them to come in and finish the innings off, that would be important.
I'm pretty impressed with the crowd today as well. It's a pretty good crowd out there.
It's a very, very strong turnout away to the pavilion and
yeah, absolutely.
Pavilion and Bannatynes Health Club. I think the Daffabet stand is closed for this game, so as open. We got a good portion of fans just away to our right hand side as well. The slog sweep is out and a LBW appeal follows, and Calvin Harrison ends his last over with 4 singles and 2 dots from it. He has figures of 4 overs, none for 20, very respectable from him. I guess Colonel as a captain, that's what you're. If your leg spinner can go for under 25 in a T20, that's your dream.
Unbelievable if a leg spinner can go there, because leg spinner is a very difficult art, and to land every ball where you need to land it is such a...
The margin for error, margin error for T20 is already minuscule, and for leg spin it's even smaller than that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I thought it was a fantastic spell of bowling there, and I think his captain was very pleased with that.
Patterson-White will continue. Turner will push him away for his 11th run of his innings. Do you reckon as much he is Turner wanting to be there for those final 3 overs, so he can, as a batter who's knows the crease, and it relieves that sort of pressure off Jones if Jones has to come in and do a hell of a lot of the work? See what Colin Ackermann has here. He has the slog sweep. I don't think he's got all of it. Colin Ackermann has to go. Calvin Harrison, who's just finished his bowling, 4 for 20. He's then taken a catch out at Cal corner. I think Colin Ackermann was starting to feel the pressure. And he goes for a runner ball 20. Durham 98 for 4 after 14 overs and 1 ball. We just mentioned his name, Michael Jones, now strides out to the middle.
That's it. I think these two have bowled really well in the partnership, and that pressure's just built there. Ackermann's backed himself to get it over that bigger leg side boundary into the wind, and he's not managed to quite get out the middle of the bat. But I think we've got to give Notts a little bit of credit there. I think, like you said, the leg spin has bowled fantastic well. Ball 4 overs with that short boundary to go sort of run a ball.
Well, you mentioned the problem solving there. It seems like Notts have maybe cottoned onto it a bit sooner. Maybe, do you think that's why Colonel, that after Patterson-White not being brought into the attack for so long, is then probably going to bowl out here as he picked up a wicket with his second ball of his second over? Yeah,
I think they'll try and squeeze Durham batters as long as he can. I think this is second over now. I think if he can get maybe 2, possibly 3 out of him, and then hold him back for later down for the bigger boundary, it's going to be very difficult for Durham batters to hit the big boundary. I think we have got a bit of left and right coming in further down the line.
We got Ben Rain, who's sort of he's jumped up the order. Ben Dorshus as well. Very short cover in for Michael Jones' first ball, but he's sending that one down to long off.
Yeah, as a captain now, I'll be trying to bowl them as many as I can to the right-handers into the big boundary. If we can get 4 out of them without getting too much damage, then that'll be a perfect scenario for the captain, and I'm sure the captain will be over the moon with that.
99 for 4, and a Ashton Turner single will bring up Durham's 100 in the 15th over. I think actually that 170 prediction from Vic might be a bit far for Durham at this point. Never say never, and this is Ryder Campbell team, but it's looking like a long way away with 5 overs left.
We would be snapping your hand off for 170 right now, but like you say, these two get going. It's still within reach. It's another fantastic ball, middle and leg.
He wasn't able. I know he did very well in his first over to go for limited runs. Can he get out of his second over with anything less than a boundary? Jones goes leg side. I don't think he's got all of that. It happened earlier in the innings. Durham losing 2 wickets and over. Michael Jones shimmied leg side, trying to open up that shorter boundary. He's not got all of it, and he goes for just 1 of 3 deliveries, and Durham are in trouble at 100 for 5 with only 5 overs left.
And that again's the pressure. He's just lost his shape there. I think with that wind and that boundary, he only has to just dimp it over there, but that's the way he plays. He's gone very hard at the ball, and unfortunately for Durham, he's not come off tonight.
Well, before the left-right that Colonel alluded to is going to happen, we're going to have another right-hander, Baz de Leede. It's not a bad guy to bring out at number 7.
It's a really I haven't really seen too much of de Leede. I've heard lots about him. I've heard that he's a very positive cricketer, and he can clear the ropes. But I've never really seen much of him. So I'm really looking forward to see how he plays this. It's a bit of a pressure situation now. So it'll be interesting how he plays it. Does he go hard straight away, or does he get himself in for maybe 1 or 2 overs and then go hard at the end? But it'll be interesting to see how he goes about it.
Change of ends for Lyndon James. He is going to bowl out from the Lumley end. He's bowled his previous 3 from the Finkel end. and has returned impressive figures of 2 for 21 from his 3 so far. And Joe Clark turns to him now, trying to remove Ashton Turner, and then Notts would really be in the ascendancy.
Oh, wide.
Full wide slow when Ashton Turner gets Durham a well-needed boundary. Just wide of short third on the discs.
And that's released a little bit of pressure. Obviously, he's looking to take that short boundary out. He's gone wide. And Turner's managed to find the gap, which hopefully will get us going this over.
You'd think now from here Turner has to be the main batter who tries to take it to Notts bowlers, wouldn't you?
Definitely. He's obviously spent a bit of time at the crease. Hopefully he's got the pace of the wicket. Like I say, he'll be trying to pierce this gap between these two boundary riders out here, I think, for these balls. Wide.
He tries exactly that. Wasn't able to get connection, but it was too wide. Says the umpire, Lyndon James. We'll have to bowl that one again.
It's a very, it's very good bowling. I think they must have spoken about before the game, and they're looking to capitalise on that long boundary. Bowling wide Yorkers, you'll give up a wide 4 rather than a 4 or a 6. So I think you're going to see that quite a lot in this game. I would imagine Durham will do the same.
Shot.
Glorious looking shot from Turner, but he's only going to get 1 for it with how T20 cricket is. A man always riding that boundary down it long off. See what Baz Delade is now going to be able to bring on his first ball to the crease. The thing is, he hasn't got a lot of time to kind of set himself. He kind of has to hit the ground running.
Yeah, I agree with that. But if you go 6 down, then you're into probably a few bowlers then. So it'll be interesting how he goes about it. I'm interested to see how he plays.
Slight change in the field for Lyndon James.
Looks like they might be going at the stumps early on, and Delade is in, and see they've got the leg side out with Chiz's short side, so if he backs himself there might be an opportunity for a boundary here.
He does go for the leg side, but he's gone first ball. He's not got all of it. Very clever bowling from Lyndon James. Took the pace off. Suckered Delade into the short ball and trying to go for that short boundary, as Much said, and he's not got anywhere near enough, and he's picked out the fielder on the fence in front of Bannatynes. Delade goes first ball, and Durham are in trouble, 106 for 6.
And it's that thing as a batter, the worst way to get out is just being a little bit stuck between two swords, whether you go or not, and he's not really tried to hit that, or he might have been done by the slow ball. But again, another bit of good thinking from the Notts team there. Plan came off, and here comes our left-hander though.
Yep, the left-right combinations are now back in business. Ben Rain strides out at number 8. Red Bull captain Scott Wolfick always talks about the Red Bull side priding themselves on lower middle order runs, everyone from 7 down being able to contribute. Durham are going to need a big contribution, not only from the ball with Ben Rain, but going to need a huge one with the bat as well to propel them to somewhat of a target to be able to defend.
Absolutely. I think he's been instrumental for Durham the last 2, 3, 4 years. It's been unbelievable.
Solid tap and run for his first ball, and he brings Ashton Turner down to the strikers. And Lyndon James has got 2 balls left, and after his first 3 went for 12, 4 leg byes and 2 fours, Alex Lees took a particular liking to him. Murchie's done very well to bring himself back into it and end up with 3 wickets so far.
Yeah, fantastic spell. We've just not managed to get away, have we, at any point in this innings so far?
Turner pins this one along the ground, and Calvin Harrison does well. When Turner comes back for 2...
Great run.
Very good running. He had no hesitation in his mind that he wanted 2 there.
In the end, it was quite easy to.
Yeah, I think Harrison had to run round a little bit to try and pick that one up rather than it falling straight to him. So James now 3 for 30 from 3 overs and 5 balls. Can he end his spell? Can he get away with one here? Goes full straight, and Ashton Turner will retain the strike. And I think you two need to make an exit for all this bad luck that you've evidently brought on us. Danny Hazel and Scott Borthwick Jumping back on. I'll join. For these final 4 overs, Danny, it's not gone Durham's way.
No, just kind of lost wickets in clumps, haven't they? But an opportunity here in the last 4 overs to take a bit of momentum into that second half. If we can, go at 10s, 12s for this last 4. Obviously, it's a big ask, but I think would put something on the board. And equally, I think it has been a tricky pitch, so I think there's definitely opportunity there to build some pressure and take some momentum into the second half.
Yeah. On another note, I must have got Gordon Mitchell's headphones because these are massive.
There it is.
You waited 16 overs, but you got away with it for 16 overs. Ollie Stone back into the attack. He starts back of a length, and Turner pulls him around the corner for a single. Scott, you mentioned it when you were on comms earlier. You can't afford to lose wickets in clumps, and Durham just have today.
Yeah, that's sort of what we've done, isn't it? I mean, every time we've felt like we had a bit of a partnership and we were sort of building a score, we've lost wickets, and it's not ideal. I mean, we've still got 2 batters now. I think Ash Turner's really important. He bats these 4 overs to get us up to a score, but like Danny just said there, I don't think it's an easy pitch to bat on. We mentioned it early on. It looks a bit too paced, looks a bit stoppy, and I think the Notts bowlers have actually bowled really well. I think there's something we can learn. I think the spinners have actually made us hit towards the long side. They've done that really well.
Ooh, Ben Rain with some innovation. Premeditated innovation there from Ben Rain. He'll pick up 2 for
Great
it.
shot.
Have you got that one in your locker, Scott?
Absolutely not. That's why I'm sat here not playing T20s. No, just fair. Really, no. I saw him practice that the other day in the nets, and he was whacking it. And the couple of lads were actually. It's a shot that we practice a lot, and him and Coggers were actually practicing it really well. And I think Parky tried to practice it as well. And I think someone said, "I don't think fine leg will ever be out the circle for you, Parky."
Ben Rain, he's got that one. Has that come off his hip? It has indeed. It's going to go down as leg buys, but Durham won't care how they come.
If he runs, massive.
I've just said I would have paid very good money to have been there when Parky attempted that. That shot. I would love to see him.
What I would say with Parky, he's an unbelievably good trainer.
Is he?
Yeah, he bowls more balls than I've ever seen anyone, and he hits a lot of balls as well. He's desperate to improve his batting. He's desperate to get up the order. So honestly, he works his socks off on his batting. But yeah, he was practicing the other day. It's great to see though. Like I say, it is a shot that a lot of players can play now, and it's a shot that if you practiced it, then why not play it in the nets in the game? Sorry. Great batting from Ben Rain. That amazing. See, because he did that sweep shot, they've had to put fine leg back, and then Ollie Stone gets his length wrong. That allows Ben Rain to capitalise and smack it down the ground. So amazing batting from Rainey. That.
It's almost as if you're a cricket player, Scott. It's almost as if you're a cricket player.
Honestly, it's easy sat up here watching. 2 steps ahead sat up here, aren't you, watching?
I think cricket's a lot of momentum, isn't it? If Durham can just get these last 3 and a bit overs and get some momentum into the second half, that could really kind of kick them on into that.
Definitely, yeah.
So there's a Stone tinkering with his field again. He's moving Ben Martindale a bit wider down in front of us. He takes all the pace off that one as well. Very good bowling from the England international.
I think this, like I said, this is where our bowlers can learn from. It's actually slow balls into the wicket. It hasn't been easy to hit, as in bowling to Rainey there. Rainey will assess that and think, right, that's what the type of ball
like you said earlier, Danny.
Definitely, yeah.
You know, it's one of Ben Rain's probably. Would you say it's one of his better balls? His slower balls.
Yeah. Look, he'll be looking at this wicket, think, I can't wait to bowl on this.
He'll be like, why am I only capped at 4 overs? That is slow, and Rain goes again. Looks like the fielder is going to get round there, and he does. Very well fielded from Lyndon James. Will they think of a third? No, they will not. They'll settle for 2.
Good shot, good running, good bit of fielding, good cricket.
So we can't quite see round the corner. We're kind of all peering our heads round. So 2 there to end the over. 123 for 6. Scott, you mentioned about getting to a score. I'm going to come to both of you. I'll come to Danny first. What is a defendable score for Durham, would you say, on this wicket, having seen it play out for 17 overs?
Oh, have you got 10s for the last 3? I think Durham would be happy with 160.
Yeah,
that would be. I think that would be and that'll be a pretty decent chase on a wicket that's probably getting a little bit more, gets slower. And I think sometimes, obviously, when you're bowling second, you've had the advantage of seeing what the opposition have done well. Sometimes what they haven't done so well. So, yeah, I think if you're up and around there, I think Durham will be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking anything above 155, really. I mean, we had got in positions where you're thinking, can we get 170? Which I think would be a really good score on this surface. But obviously losing wickets like we have, we've got 2 batters now. Can we get another 25 here? Can we get another 30 like Danny says? Can we get up that 160 mark, which I think it's snap your hand up for 160 right now, I think.
Well, after bowling in the power play, Faruqi's back to bowl, I presume, 2 of the last 3 overs for the Outlaws, and starts with a full one that Turner just pushes out to the offside. I think that's a good. I think Notts will take that because it. Well, will they? Because it does bring Ben Rain onto strike, who has now got the. He's got the.
Yeah, I think the
well, no, Ben Rain will have the longer boundary.
The long
sorry,
side. But I think the beauty of having left hand, right hand combination at this stage of the game,
just constant. It's just
constant
movement.
It's our advantage because there's always somebody hitting to the short side. And I think now it would be like, really, can you get Turner back on strike and let him target the short side, and then next over, Rainey, can you target that short side?
No, Ben Range is going to pull out the helicopter shot again.
Yeah, I mean,
he's going to pull out the ramp shot, and
I mean, you could see anything from Ben Rain.
Faruqi, 2.1 overs, 1 for 12. Very respectable return for him so far. Ben Rain backs away.
Great shot.
Gives himself room, but he has. Unfortunately, there's a man out there, and Ben Rain, he had his head up to the sky there, thinking, why is a fielder there?
Yeah,
why is he there?
Great shot. I mean,
but literally, as you said the ball before, Scott, this now brings AT back onto strike, who now has the short boundary.
Yeah, yeah. I think he'll try and walk across his stumps and look to target that, I would think.
125 for 6, 17 overs and 2 balls have been bowled. All pace off there from Faruqi, and Turner pushes that out for a single.
These big 2 overs, aren't they? I think it's international experience to be able to bowl 2 in the power play, bowl 2 at the back end is a huge advantage. And we're seeing a lot of skill in terms of how bowlers have kept that short side out the way, and I think it's a lot to learn going into the second half.
Looks like he's got good skills, hasn't he? And a lot of pace. He's bowled some fast balls tonight, I think, on a slow surface.
That one's into the pitch, and Ben Rain not able to connect with it. You mentioned there about the pace, Scott, but he's also got he's shown the variations. He's shown the variations. He's bowled fast, and he's also held a fair few back. And that I think that one was a bit more pace off into the surface as well.
100%. I think when you're facing someone that can bowl up to 90 miles an hour, and then they take the pace right off like that, it's so hard. Because Rainey's thinking there, he's seen the length, he's seen it's short, he's gone back to pull it.
And he's eyeing up this.
Yeah,
he's eyeing up Cal Corner, thinking, I've got this.
Yeah, and then it's.
And then he's through the shot before he knows it.
Good bit of bowling. Change of field here. Deep point has come in, and deep square leg has gone back, which is going to look to hit the wicket here and go short, I would think. Like that. That was fast.
That is the variation of pace we've been talking about, and the umpire signals 1 for the over.
I mean, sometimes the batter, right, if you're facing someone quick and you see it in your mind, you think, right, if he drops it short, I'm going to pull this. But then sometimes when it's let go of the hand, in your mind you think, that's too fast for me, I've got to get away with it. I think that's what Rainey's done there. You don't often see a leave in T20 cricket, but when it's that fast, sometimes you just get away with it, don't you?
It's a little bit safer as well. It takes the top edge out of it.
Yeah, like
that one. He goes leg side. That was full as well.
How was that missed?
Yeah, Ben Rain was certainly looking for. He's got a few words for.
Yeah, he's telling them where I should have gone.
He's got a few words for Faruqi as well. As that ends the 18th, 126 for 6. A very good over from Faruqi there. The run rate currently sitting at 7.
This is a big over.
Yeah, it is.
Huge over, this one. This is the one to... This is your target over. Probably a bit harder for Turner hitting towards the longer end, but I think Rain, once he gets on strike, this will be sticking it in the members, hopefully.
Yep, this is a big over. Can this be a big over for us? Can we get 18 or 20 off this over would be huge, wouldn't it?
Turner wanted to send that into the fans. It's got to be 2. Borthwick calls 2.
Great running.
And they come back for that second run.
One of the little amazing things I find in white ball cricket is when you get a 2 when the ball hasn't left the 30-yard ring.
Is that just what?
Gordon Mutchell is looking at me and laughing.
Is that as a fielder? Is that just disheartening?
No, as a batter, you think that as a batting team, it shows that you're running with intent.
But as a fielder, that's
Gordon
disheartening.
Mutchell's looking at me laughing because he was one of the best runners ever, and he's thinking exactly the same.
Great minds think alike.
Oh yes.
Oh, that one.
Shot.
Turner just a little flick of the wrists to get it just in between the gap of wicketkeeper and short third. He'll pick up a boundary, and Durham haven't had many of them in the second half of their innings. They could certainly use a few more of them as they count down these final 10 balls.
Good shot that wasn't from Turner. He knew where the field was.
Adapted as well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He thought. I think he thought he was going to go leg side, and then just was able to quick glance through the gap. What Stone got up his sleeve as a response. In the slot, and Turner thumps that straight back past him with venom.
The ball.
And the ball wins the race to the boundary.
Great batting, great shot.
I think is this that little momentum kicker into the
100%.
into the second half. I think I think sometimes you get dragged into the short boundary and think everything's got to go there, but actually if you just towards the back end, if you just play strong cricket shots, you'll still get 4s and you'll still get 6s.
100%, yeah. 100%. And it came off the back of that great 2 at the start, from sort of smart batting from Rainey to understand they want to get Ash back on strike and running hard to get back for the 2, and it's resulted in 2 boundaries as well.
33 off 25 for Turner. He goes leg side this time. Will drop just safe at the man of the fielder at Cal corner. It's Calvin Harrison who's out there.
For me, these are probably 2 free swings.
Yeah.
You've got 2 swings, short boundary. He's got 2 free hits here.
Yep, definitely. Round the wicket as well. He's come. I think Rainey get across your stumps, clear that front leg, and try and whack it at the members.
Scott Borthwick's called it. Will it happen? Ollie Stone to Ben Rain. It's
Gone
gone the other side.
Shot. What a shot that is.
It's gone the other side, but Ben Rain won't care about Scott Borthwick's predictions. He cares he's got 4 runs for that shot.
Hell of a shot. Great batting. Great batting. I don't think Ollie Stone's probably I don't think he's upset with that ball. He's probably landed it where he wanted to get it. He took that short side away from it, but
this is the volatility of T20 cricket, though. Ollie Stone has not bowled what you'd think 0 for 39 looks like. It's just this over. He's had a couple of he's had an edge from Ashton Turner, one where the fielders haven't been able to catch around. It's just one of those ones as a bowler you're probably just head in your hands thinking that's just how T20 cricket goes, isn't it? Like, that's it. Can he end on a positive for Notts? Ben Rain goes to the short side.
Go ball.
And clears the ropes for 6. Durham with a big 19th over. 4 boundaries from it. Scott Borthwick's going crazy up here in the commentary box.
Amazing. We said, didn't we, can this be the big over? Can we get a 15 or 20 run over? How many was off that in the end? Was it 10?
3 4s, a 2, a 6 and a 1. Do some quick maths.
I'm going to pen and paper.
21, Muchy says. If it's wrong, that's on Gordon Mutchell. That's not on any of us.
Amazing. And now you put us in a position. Can we go and get 160 now? 160, I think, would be a great score on this surface.
And most importantly, with the boundary being off the final ball, Ashton Turner has the short side to start this final over. 147 for 6. Danny and Scott both wanted Durham to get to the 150, 160 mark. Certainly a lot more achievable than it was when Michael Jones and Baz Deleda got out. Fariki to bowl the final over. Turner drives straight away. It's got to be 2.
The ball.
Good stop, but it's got to come back for 2, and batters will get there comfortably.
Good bit of fielding down at long off, wasn't it?
Was indeed. I think it's Lyndon James down there doing the work. What would you be looking for here, guys? Pace off from Fariki? After that one seemed a bit more of his natural pace. Would you be tempted to take the pace off if you were him?
Yeah. I think it's not so much that it's can you hang it outside? He's got the field to hang it outside.
Turner goes big.
2.
Danny Hazel calls 2. And it will be 2.
Didn't get it, but scamper back for 2. Yeah, I think you're right, Danny. It's more the line he's trying to bowl. It's not so much the pace. It's actually can you get Ash to hit the ball to that big side? The field is set for that. Can you bowl as wide as you can, really?
There's a 150 up for Durham in the final over. 151 for 6. Ben Rain has added a lot of impetus to the back end of this innings, as he always seems. When Durham need a hero, I think Ben Rain's probably number 2 or 3 on your speed dial. From Durham's point of view, Ashton Turner's played his part. 38 off 28. It's been some acceleration from him. Digs out a full one into the short cover region. It'll be a single there. So Ben Rain looks like he's going to have 3 balls here. Unfortunately, he's going to be hitting to the longer side for Durham, but I guess from Joe Clark's point of view, that's the result he'll take. He'll take that single to get Ashton Turner away from having that pavilion short boundary in his eye line.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is what does Rainey do here? Is he thinking, like, do I just get Ash back on strike?
Is it quantity of runs,
or is it about actually, do I have a free swing here and just try and hit some boundaries here?
I think he might be looking at that latter one as the free swing.
I made him mid-off.
It is a swing from Ben Rain. Runs away from the fielder. A desperate diving stop. He's done really well. He saved a single there.
Good.
They come back for 3.
Very good.
Very good. Cricket all round. But from Notts' point of view, it brings Ashton Turner back on with 2 balls left.
I think you're right. Rainey was still looking to target the boundaries, which is brilliant. Like, he's earned the right to do that. It's the great little innings from him, isn't it?
23 off 13, just what needs as well. Delayed the going first ball. The innings are kind of stalled from Durham's perspective.
He's been the only one who's come out and scored a really good click, hasn't he?
Yeah.
2 balls left. Faruqi has Turner in his eye line. Turner absolutely smokes it. Hard. He has smoked that one. Surprised there's not fire flames coming out of the middle of Turner's bat right now, because that travelled at some venom back past the bowler. Durham getting up towards that 160 mark.
Amazing. Great shot, wasn't it? He hits the ball so hard, doesn't he?
Yeah. I think that's, again, that these last 3 overs, last 2 overs have been really good. I think
a rapid 50 partnership has come up there as well. 53 from just 26 deliveries between these two. Certainly handing Durham back the advantage as we go into the break. It's 159 for 6. Final ball of the innings. Ashton Turner on strike. Faruqi to bowl. Turner goes for the ramp. He's not going to get all of it, but he gets through for a bye.
160.
And that makes Danny Hazel's prediction come true. It's 160 for 6. Durham finish on a very prolific final 2 overs. Ben Rain and Ashton Turner putting together a 54-run partnership at the back end. And Scott, from 106 for 6, I think Durham are very happy with that, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like Danny just touched on there, that momentum swing that last 4 overs have given us. We weren't in a position to really get 150, 140, were we? But to really to do what he's just done, and Turner as well, it's amazing. And look, I'm sat here now thinking we're favourites. I think 160 is actually a really good score. We've got to bowl well. We've got to learn from what they did well at times. Seam bowlers, can we take pace off it and try and protect that short side as much as we can? But honestly, I think 160 is a very good score. Danny, would you agree with that? Durham's slight favourites at 160?
Yeah, I think power play is huge. Win the power play and you probably go a long way to win this game as pace comes off the ball and spinners come into the game more. But yeah, focus on this power play, win the power play, in a good position. Well, there you have it. Durham 160 for 6 at the interval, and I think we're almost ready to chuck back to Andy in the Daffabet studio.
Thank you very much, Rob, as he makes a quick dash across the studio. I'll tell you who else has made a quick dash into the Daffa News studio. Scott Borthwick was only on commentary about 10 seconds ago. He's straight into his punditry chair, and he's joined by the man who I've been told to call the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Phil Mustard himself. It's an apt title, isn't it, Colonel, that? I'd go with that, the man, the myth, the legend. It's fair, isn't it?
Absolutely. I'll go whatever you want to call me.
Depends who you speak to.
I was going to say the man's never going to refute that, is he? Straight away to the punditry chair. How have you found the commentary, mate, tonight? Has it been all right?
It's been brilliant.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed it. First time I've really done it.
Yeah.
obviously it takes a little bit of time to get used to what's
Absolutely.
what's going on. But yeah, very very much enjoyed it.
I thought you took to it like a duck to water, mate. And to be honest, one of the lines of your innings when you asked Rob if he'd played cricket before, I mean, it's sensational, sensational put down straight away.
He talks a good game.
He does. Lovely lad is Rob. Anyway, shall we focus on the cricket? Because let's face it, when the 100 came up for Durham, I was starting to get a little bit worried. But I tell you what, that tail wagged a little bit, didn't it, Scott?
Yeah, amazing. The last 3 or 4 overs from Ash and Rainey really gave us that momentum, didn't it? I think the sort of innings sort of went up and down, didn't it? We had a great start with Leesy and Robbo, and then we're in a position where, look, can you go and get 160, 170? And then we lost wickets in clunks, which we've done quite a few times in this competition, haven't we? So, but then to finish the innings the way we did, look, I just said on comms there, 160. I'm confident 160. I'm sat here now thinking we're favourites. It's not an easy wicket to go out there and to score from ball one. Like, Rainey was the only one that did it. The rest of the batters really struggled to get going from the off. But I think Notts guys actually bowled okay at times as well, and they was quite smart with how we didn't really we couldn't target that short side, that they tried to shift it and make us hit to the long side. And I think that's what we've got to do well. We've got to learn from what they did really well. But look, I'm sat here now at 160, pretty confident.
Scott mentioned it there, Phil. Like, and you mentioned it in comms as well. In fairness, Scott, it's so difficult when the batsmen are going out in clumps. You know, there's no one really staying there and making a partner. How difficult is that out in the middle when you're going in? You know, and you're having to try and find your feet almost immediately.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Obviously, I think most of them went run a ball, apart from Turner and Rain. But a run a ball in T20 cricket, it's probably not acceptable these days. But I think once you start losing wickets early on in the power play, I think we were 2 down or 3 down in the power play, it's very, very difficult to come back from that. But I think the way the boys played at the back end of that innings got to 160. I think early on in commentary, I think Muchie and them won about 171 or 200, I think we were talking. I was never, once I saw the first 2 overs, I thought a 150, 160 would be a very good score. I think it's going to be a good score. I think it's going to be a very good game. But I thought the spinners for Notts were pretty good. I think a couple of Patterson got 2 overs and 9. So that just brought them back in a little bit. So I think, but at the end of it, I think Durham are in a pretty good position. But I think it's going to be a very good game.
I think the exact phrase that I was listening to on commentary was, I think a few of you said this, over the moon with 170 if Durham can get themselves there. Obviously, it didn't look great at one particular time, but like we say, a little bit of a wag at the end. It got off to a half-decent start, though. The power play 45 for 1. It just kind of ebbed and flowed after that, didn't it, Scott?
Yeah, I said actually on comms that 45 for 1, yes, we haven't gone all guns blazing, but we've only lost to 1 wicket. And I think the guys recognised, Leesy and Robbo recognised it probably wasn't an easy pitch to go on and really strike the ball well. So I think actually can we build a bit of a partnership? I think it was they got a 50-run partnership for about 38, 39 balls, which I say it's not all guns blazing. But it gave us that bit of a platform, and then like Colin said, we just lost a few wickets in that middle and lost him in clunks, which is never ideal in any form, but especially in T20s. But the way that Rainey and Ash played there, like I said, was amazing, and they were really smart as well. They managed to get Ash on strike when he had to with the short side. Rainey targeted really well. They ran really well. So yeah, look, hopefully that momentum swing has just gone our way.
And like we say, you know, we look at it towards the end. There was one big over, wasn't there, off Ollie Stone? I think he went for 21, and Ben really took to him, didn't he, Colonel, at that point?
Yeah, I think we saw it early on. I think he came across the stumps and scooped Stone for a 4, and then obviously Stone changed the field a little bit, and then Ben Rain went straight, hit him for 4. So I think that just shows the confidence that Ben's got, and I think shown his experience as well. I think if you can manipulate the field like that, even if you go early or late, I think if you can manipulate the field, I think that's a great skill to have. And Ben Rain showed it time and time again for Durham, and he's always been there or thereabouts at the end, and he always gets us to a very good score.
If Durham are to win this, do we think that would be the over? That's the over breaker, really, do you reckon, Scott?
Oh, I think just the last 4 overs, really. That partnership, I think it was a 50-run partnership off 20-25 balls, which I think if we do win this game, we're going to have to bowl really well. But I think that partnership will be the winning partnership. That'll be the one on the way home tonight. That's the partnership we're talking about. We're talking about Rainey's scoop for 4 and then Howie Target and Ash's big shots at the end. That's the partnership that I think could win us the game. But we do have to bowl well. I think Rainey will be excited to bowl on this surface. With his slow balls and his cutters and his change of pace, I think he'll be excited, as will the spinners.
I think that's the word that Danny was saying on commentary. The bowlers will be excited about taking to the field. What would you be thinking if you were in the dressing room now? What do you reckon the bowlers will be saying to one another right now?
I think we obviously you sit down with your bowlers and are we going to open with a spinner? Yeah. Or are we going to open with a seamer? My preference would be today open with the seamers early on, let the ball do what it needs to do with a big hard seam. If we can get 1 or 2 in the power play, then we'll be over the moon. But I think once the power play goes, we got the 2 spinners, and our 2 spinners are very, very strong. So I think that's where the game's going to be won or lost.
What would you do, Scott? What would you open with?
We've gone spin every game, either with Ackers or with. It's
always with Parky, isn't it?
Parky's done. I think Ash Turner's done an over. I'd be tempted to do what Colin's just said and go with Ben Dorsh's with a seamer. Can we get a couple of swing early on? Can we put a slip in? Can we be a bit brave and try and get a wicket early? Because remember, Notts are bottom of the league. Their confidence levels are really down. If we start well, we might just get on top of them. So I will be chucking the ball to our seamers, but we'll see what Lizzie does.
Looking back on it then, because I know we had a big debate about this pre-match, didn't we? About what to do if you won the toss and everything. Was that a good decision from Notts, do you reckon, Colonel, then to have a ball first or not?
Yeah, I think when the boys went out there and looked at the pitch, I think there was a little bit indifference between the comments from both of them. So that tells me that nobody really knew what the pitch was going to do. Might have been a little bit damp on top. So I think as a Notts fan, you would always try and bowl on that. I would personally bowl on that if I saw it, but as an individual, I prefer to chase. But I think going out there, see the pitch, I think Notts made a great decision to bowl first, and hopefully that is what is going to be the game changer.
Where are the threats in that Notts lineup, though, Scott? Because they've got some big hitters there and a short boundary.
Yeah, I mean Joe Clark's the main one, isn't he? He's the guy that is scored runs around the world in T20s. They've got a couple of Tom Moores comes out and he's another guy that can hit both ways, which is a spin ball. It's a nightmare when someone can sweep both ways. But I think the reason why Notts bowled first is because of the short side. They thought, well, it might be hard to defend. But I think they'll be thinking 160, it's a good score. And like I say, the start's really important. Can we get 1 or 2 early? Can we get on top of them? And can we stay on top?
Do you reckon there's any indication that the pitch will slope a little bit, Colonel, and there might be a bit more for the batsmen or not?
I think it will. I think it will slow. The pitch is up and down, so I think there is a bit of variation in there. Obviously, I think the ball might get a little bit softer. It's a little bit damp out there, and I think that might help the bowling in that way. But I think, personally, I think it's going to be a very, very good game. I think it's going to be the power play. What Scott said is going to be instrumental, but I think if you can get 2-3 early wickets, then I think it's going to be a solid game.
And the biggest question of the interval, just as the two teams are about to retake the field here at the Seton Uke Riverside, have we heard from Hayden yet? How's his birthday going?
Oh yeah, I can't say it on this. I don't know where he is, but
is he alive?
He is. I haven't spoken to him today, but I think he is alive, and I think he's gone to York races. I think so on his 18th. I think that's what he wanted to do. So when he found out he wasn't in the squad a few days ago, he went, "Oh, that's my chance to go and have a little bit of fun."
Hey, well, we hope he's having an absolutely cracking day at York races. And we should be here supporting the team, for God's sake. What's going on there? I tell you. Anyway, just very, very finally before we pass on to the commentary team, how do you guys see it going now, Scott? First up.
Look, like I said, at 160, I'm pretty confident. And I think the lads that have batted out there, they'll be thinking 160 is a good score. But we have got to bowl well. It's not just going to happen. We've got to be smart. We've got to be smart with where we want Notts to hit us. That's the big thing. Like I say, I think Notts won the toss and bowled first to scare because that short side. Come and be smart and get that right. But yeah, I'm going to say a Durham win.
Colonel, your prediction quickly?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Durham win, but I think it's going to be a very tight game.
Happy days. Well, I'll tell you what, Rob Rush is in an absolute rush to get back into the Dafa News studio and get back onto commentary, because he's left Gordon Mutchell absolutely high and dry in the commentary box. Tell you what, Durham defending 160 for what would be an absolutely massive win in the Vitality T20 Blast 2024. And as you can probably tell, I am filling. Rob Rush has sprinted across the camera and he's ready to take up the commentary.
It's almost as if you're professional, Andy. Almost as if you're friend. Callum Parkinson to kick things off for Durham. He's got Ben Martindale in his eye line. Starts away with a dot ball. Are you surprised much that they've kept going with spin, or is it just Cambo sticking true to what he's done the entire tournament?
I think, like you say, they've got clear roles. I was just watching the warm-up there, actually, and the ball was swinging. There was a lot of talk from the boys there about whether they'd open the seam or spin. But they've stuck with the spinner, and he started well here with a dot and a single out of deep mid-wicket.
Yeah, that short boundary immediately being protected with the 2 men that are allowed out in these first 6 overs out there. What do you reckon? You reckon it's going to be pace from the far end? Someone like Benny Dorcius?
Yes, I think at the left arm overseas, fired up from that bottom end. And as I say, it was swinging in the warm-up, so hopefully we can nick a couple out, maybe get a few through the gate, and take a few wickets in this power play. Get us right on the front foot.
Ooh, nice bit of turn and bounce there from Parkinson. Just talking with a few of the guys upstairs, and left him on the note that Durham need to get Joe Clark out early. Would you echo that? He seems he's their talisman so far. Their captain, leading run scorer in the Blast so far with 242 runs in what's been a dismal campaign for them. Do you agree with that? So Joe Clark needs to be got early from Durham's point of view?
I would 100% agree with that. He's obviously their man with all the experience. He's been around the world. He played in the domestic competition in Australia, I think in Pakistan, a few other ones. So if we can get him and just get him in amongst these inexperienced batters, that would be a big help.
Well, just one from the first 4 balls, and that could have been a chop on and Durham's first wicket. But it's another dot. Just the one single. Durham need to escape this first over relatively unscathed. Parkinson's done well so far, and slip goes out to reinforce that short field. So Joe Clark goes leg side, and Colin Ackermann has a chase on round the corner to stop the boundary, but he can't get there. Notts 5 without loss after 1. If you're keeping an eye on the T20 Blast table, before the game told you that Lancashire were sitting in 2nd and Yorkshire, after winning last night, sat 7th. That Roses game at Old Trafford has been rained off without a single ball bowled, so that does play into Durham's hands in terms of Yorkshire not overtaking them tonight. So that helps them out, but obviously Durham have to focus on the job in hand here. So Lancashire will move on to 15 points, and Yorkshire will move level with 11, but they won't be in front, and it will be Benny Dorcius from the Lumley end to kick us off much. Going with a slip straight away, Ashton Turner is going to be the man trusted with that. And he's gone, and Alex Lee's gone for a split sweep field. One on the offside, one on the leg. Benny Dorcius immediately targeting the pads of Ben Martindale, who's currently 1 off 3. What sort of line of lengths do you want to see here from Dorcius as he gets off and running this game?
That's it. I'm pleased he's put the slip in. Obviously, that the Parkinson delivery, that's turn and bounce. He got a slip in there, and like I said, wickets in the power play definitely helps. So I think he'd be looking to pitch it up and swing it here.
Pitch it up and look for swing, says Gordon Mutchell. Ooh. It's pitched up, maybe a tiny bit of movement. Martindale able to take the single. We saw it as well at certain points in Durham's innings with the bat of being able to turn those 1s into 2s. I guess that's got to be high on the mind of Alex Lees and Durham fielders in this power play, just not to allow those singles to turn into 2s.
Yeah, that's it. Your job on the boundary obviously is to protect the boundary, but to get yourself in that position where you can stop that too as well. Alan Walker used to be huge on this. If you get yourself off 2 or 3 yards on this longer side out towards the scoreboard, just to stop that too. And I also like the way Leesy's got these extra cover in mid-wicket, really squeezing here, closes down the angle. There's a batter when you look up and you think, I can't really get it past those 2. It does make a big difference.
Dorcius to Clark, and there is the bounce. Ollie Robinson taking a very good catch away to his right-hand side.
And I think that's it. The nature of this pitch, no Durham batsman really got on a roll where they felt as if they were totally in. There's always a little bit of something in this surface, and that one's absolutely taken off. Great take by Robinson.
halfway through Dorsh's is first over. That one inside edge from Clark. He's not able to get it out the ring.
And after seeing that one fly through to Robinson there, you see Parkinson there at short third man. He stood in his slip catch and ready position. He thinks he's in the game. I think he could be as well.
Do you think they'll carry on with Parkinson after White's run at force over, or do you want to see that change up of going to maybe a pace option like a Baz Deleda from this end?
Yeah, I think it's a tough one. As I say, Deleda was getting to swing beautifully in the warm-up, so I would be sat here going Deleda next over.
Oh, that one has cut Joe Clark in half. Very good start from Dorsh's, finding that swing you were talking about there, Much.
Yeah, and after seeing that one, I'd definitely be going to Deleda. I think we've got to use this new ball. I think Parkinson bowls well with whatever ball he bowls.
Okay, so banking your chips after that first over and taking that and taking that, not running with it, but using that to move along. Just the one single from Dorsh's first over from the line of the end. Joe Clark, 4 off 7. Standing leg side here, and it will just be that one run from Dorsh's first over. Not 6 without loss.
Fantastic over there from the overseas. Didn't miss with any of his balls there. Put the batter under pressure every time. And as I say, these Durham fielders are really squeezing, making these Notts batsmen feel a little bit claustrophobic where they're going to get this next run. And Deleda is being given the ball.
Like I said, I can assure you, we don't have a live feed to Alex Lees. We don't have a live feed to Ryan Campbell. We don't have a live feed to anyone out there on the field so far. But we did talk about maybe going to Baz Deleda, and Alex Lees has indeed chucked the ball to his Dutch superstar.
Yeah.
Maybe fair to say not quite hit the highs that the fans or himself would have been wanting, but he's got a great opportunity here to do so. He's trusted to follow up Callum Parkinson's first over. He's got Ben Martindale in his sights.
Oh, dear.
Not the best start, but he's got a wicket. That's slow, loopy, full toss from Baz Deleda. You can see on your screens he's laughing about it with Michael Jones. That is, I think, one of the worst balls that he's probably bowled, and he's come away with a wicket. Durham get that early breakthrough they wanted.
And that is so pleasing as a Durham point of view. As a Notts point of view, I think that was very much borderline whether that was a no ball. But we got the call there, and the young batsman from Notts is still turning back to see if the umpire's going to call him back, but they're not. They've made the decision, and sometimes, I'm not going to say the word, gets wickets.
It's a 4-letter word. Ben Slater walks out at number 3 for the Outlaws. The last thing they needed in chasing a target of 160 when they had Durham kind of on the ropes at 106 for 6. The last thing Notts wanted was a early wicket, and they've had that, unfortunately, for them. So right here.
That's it. You sit in these bowling meetings, and I'm sure the slower ball, full toss, just downside leg side wasn't what they were talking about. But no, we've got a wicket in this power play, and hopefully you can pitch one and see if it does swing.
Well, Deleda's going to have the slip in play. I think it's
Slater.
It's going to be Slater on strike. I think it's Ashton Turner who's gone down the other end for slip. Alex Lee's chosen to enforce a tight offside field for Slater. Deleda comes over the wicket and into the pads, and he'll get away with a dot ball. Very good start for the Dutchman.
Yeah, hitting that hard length, cramping him for room. Obviously, he's got that slip in. He started well here. Wicket, and then a good one to follow it up. And the pressure is on Notts here. You can see the body language of the Durham fielders here. They're all up. They all want to keep
extra pep in their step.
Just outside
big
leg.
LBW appeal, but Deleda's not got a lot going for him. We're coming over the wicket to a left-hander.
Yeah, he's not managed to get that line right. We'll see if it's swung. Start them straight so far.
You say that, but he's got away with the dot ball. He's had 3 dot balls to start. He's had three dot balls to start. So from his point of view, he's doing his job.
Exactly. He's a wicket and 2 dots. I'll be quiet.
6 for 1 Notts halfway through their second over, and slip now comes out. I think Lees just wants to protect against a boundary here, going away on the leg side. He's gone for that split sweep. With only one man back out on the leg side. Deleda goes full. Gets a thick outside edge from Slater, and that will run away for the Outlaws. Slater off the mark with a 4.
And that was unfortunate. I think that was the line he was trying to bowl with the slip in there. They've moved the man across, and he's just managed to get his hands through that. But like you say, he's given it a chance to swing back and take wicket, so that's not necessarily too bad a ball, that one.
Oh, big swing, but no contact from Slater.
Fantastic. That one just looks as if it bounced again. There's
How
definitely something in this wicket if you hit it hard.
How frustrating is that for a batter dealing with the variable bounce? Because I assume when it bounces up quite nicely onto your bat, you're thinking you're $1 million and everything. But then if it's an uneven bounce and misses your bat, you're thinking, I can't hit one off the square here.
Well, you're almost second guessing on. As a batsman, all you want is a consistent surface.
That one again down to the same region, but Colin Ackermann is out there to keep it to a single. Notts lose their first wicket, but pick up 5 runs from the over 11 for 1. Baz Deleda off the mark straight away with a wicket.
And that was the feeling I got throughout that Durham innings there, was that they couldn't really trust the pitch. We saw that 200 score against Lancashire where they just stood and hit real strong shots, and it was almost like they weren't quite sure how the ball was going to react off that surface. And hopefully that continues through the second half of the game.
I like this move as well from Alex Lees, keeping Dorcius on. Sometimes we mentioned against Worcestershire, there is the temptation to keep rotating the bowlers, not allowed the batter to get set, but I think there was enough there from Dorcius in his first 6 that he gets another crack.
And we talked about with the Notts innings and their overseas play was how long do you keep going with him? If he looks a threat, do you hold him 2 back or do you go 3 in the power play? They held him back for 2, which was, he obviously bowled 1 really good over in the power play, and the second one we got a little bit
flicked, but it's going to drop comfortably short of Ackermann. Another thing as well, Joe Clark has sort of been, he's not got off to the lightning start, 4 off 8, and that last over he was held off strike for the entire over, so kind of starving him of the amount of balls faced as well doesn't allow him to maybe make him feel good about himself. I'm sure Colonel, when he was playing in T20s, loved getting as many balls as he could under his belt.
Colonel was the king of trying to hit the first 5 balls for 4,
and
the last ball
for 1.
You just had to run, which was perfect because normally he did hit the first 5 balls for 4, so that didn't matter. But no, he was a good counter, the Colonel.
Dorcius to Clark and can't get it past Michael Jones. Had official attendance numbers through for the game this evening. A very healthy and respectable 3,786 of you in the stadium. Very nice numbers for a Friday night. Hopefully we can recreate something similar on Sunday, although I am aware there's a fairly big football final going on Sunday evening.
What a day of sport. Come down to the unique Riverside for a 2020 game and then go and watch England win the European Championships on the afternoon.
Clark just gets it past Michael Jones and will pick up a boundary for the Outlaws. Seemed like he was shimmying down the pitch there and just about cleared Michael Jones, and that man, I think it's Nathan Salter who's doing the sweeping. He's quite square, and that one went fine from Clark.
Yeah, that's it. Again, the pressure we've built up, the batsmen are having to do something different. They happen to take a little bit of a risk here, and they just got lucky with that one and get a much needed boundary for their sake.
Dorcius looking for a response. That's aerial. Drops safe, but Ackermann is able to stop the boundary, and good run round and throw on point means that Notts will only pick up a single.
That was a great movement from Ackermann in the field there.
I remember Ryan Campbell was very happy, not only with the quality of batter he was getting when he signed Colin Ackermann, but the quality of fielder he was getting. Settled in straight away at second slip in the cordon for the county championship, and he's such a valuable fielder that he plays such a huge part in being the sweeper out here in the power play. Quick tap and run from Slater means Clark gets a strike straight back. What would you do now with Dorcius? Mentioned it with Faruqi in Notts' innings, having 2 up top and then change up. Would you copy that plan, or are you tempted to give Dorcius 1 more from what you've seen?
I think I would hold him back 2. I think two overs from the left armour at the back end taking away from that short side is a bonus. So I would probably hold them back if I was lazy.
That's back past
down
Turner, but Ben Rain is able to pull that one up short, and Notts will pick up 2 for that off the last ball of the 4th over. 2 left now. Power play 20 for 1. For reference, Durham ended their power play on 45 for 1. So definitely not as easy to get going.
Yeah, and these 2 were big overs in the power play. It'd be interesting to see who he goes to with that bottom, the top end for that last over. Looks like Delayed is going to come again from this end, and it'll probably be left up to the man himself, Ben Rain, to bowl the last power play over from the bottom end.
See on the screen there, the blue sky is trying to peek through, but fairly heavy dosage of cloud cover here at Seat Unique Riverside. Floodlights have been on since the start. On this Friday evening now in July, as Durham go chasing a win that would hand them a huge boost in their hopes of securing a quarter-final tie in a Blast, which is something they've not been able to do for quite a while. Not been the happiest tournament for the home side.
No, I think, like you say, we've gone through a little bit of a rebuilding phase, as Notts are now, with some senior players and a few financial constraints put on by the ECB. But I think we're back where we were when we were pushing for titles and winning titles. And like you mentioned before, Colin Ackermann, what a signing he is. He's been absolutely phenomenal for Leicester for a few seasons now, and Parkinson are 2 brilliant signings, I think. And just give us that bit of experience and that little bit of class in this competition. As you say, hopefully we can get a win here, get ourselves in that quarter-final, and anything can happen.
Short, pulled, and Nathan South has to pick that one up out the crowd. First maximum of the Outlaws innings, Deleda dropping just a tad too short. South is going to have a huge role to play today, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's another trump card we've managed to pick up. Very sought after in the 100 as well. It was interesting, Deleda's gone, similarly to how he got out, he sort of went short boundary, I'm going to bang it in. If you want to take me on, and he's took him on and got away with it this time. Oh, no! And
he's gone short. He's gone leg side again, and Slater's lined him up and deposited him into the pavilion. 6 more. The Outlaws looking to capitalise on these final few balls of the power play.
That's a great batting from Slater. Again, Deleda just hitting back of a length, inviting him to take that short side on, and he's got 2 away. And it's just a stop and play here. I don't know whether somebody's been hitting the crowd or...
maybe some difficulty getting the ball back.
Hopefully they're right. I can see the sort of paramedics over there, so the ball's come back and they're being well looked after. Fingers crossed they're all right.
Yeah, has just allowed Alex Lees and Ben Dorcius to get around Deleda after those 6s. Occupational hazard being at a T20 game.
Well, I think Andy mentioned it in the pre-match there. He says get your catching hands ready if you're in that members stand there, because like I say, the wind's blowing that way and it's not much of a hit. So fingers crossed they're all right. And Deleda's back at his mark, ready to go again. Hopefully pitch this one up, swing it back and see them stumps go flying everywhere.
Trying to hook that one way over short fine leg in the ring, but I think it's that's bat onto thigh pad there.
Yeah, better length I thought there from Deleda. .66. As I say, these two final overs of the power play sometimes the hardest to bowl. We've got deep mid wicket out and deep square leg now, so we're protecting that leg side a bit more. Oh, we're bowled.
Just be a single out to Michael Jones. I think Durham, as Notts were trying to protect that short boundary, and Deleda just wants some tinkering with his field.
And he's got Clark hitting to the long side now. I think he'd be a bit happier now.
He's moving him a bit finer now as well. Almost to cow corner. There's a man at deep backward square as well. Big inward movement there, and it's going to go down as a leg bye. That was thing Joe Clark. Not Outlaws 34 for 1 as they approach their final over of the power play. It looks like we're going to see some spin. The helmet's being run out for Ollie Robinson. Is it going to be Callum Parkinson? Or
Ben Rain, I think. He's just going to stand up.
It's going to be Ben Rain.
And that's it. We were 45 for 1, was it, at the end of power play?
Yep. 45 for 1. I think it was a slight bit of explosion towards the end, and Notts will be hoping for something very similar. From their point of view?
Definitely. We're just looking at the field. We've got deep square leg out and long on.
I wouldn't be surprised if Rainey goes pace off first ball just to try and mess with Joe Clark's mind a little bit. It's full and straight, and Joe Clark has said, "Thank you very much. I'll tuck into that all day long." And Ben Rain starts at the boundary.
Yeah, and you saw Joe Clark just go back in his crease, load up on that back foot. I think he's going to target this over. He knows if he can get ahead of the 8 ball here before the spinners come on, it's going to be a big help for Notts. So he's just put the pressure back on Ben Rain here, but like I say, he's seen this all before. Be interesting to see where he goes. I think he's going to go for a fast Yorker, middle leg.
It's full and straight again, and this time Clark has gone over his head and he's gone for 4 more. Not the start Ben Rain was hoping for, and Notts are having a very decent end to their power play.
No, and it's hard with that short boundary. We've seen if you hit the pitch hard, there's a little bit in there. And Ben Rain's gone full first 2 balls. No change in the field, so he's sticking with the same plan. We just hope Clark hits one to a fielder here. He's targeting this over. Can we take another couple of wickets in this power play? Just as I say that, he's put deep point out and board. Mid on in. So it looks like he's going to go into the pitch now.
Oh. Big shouts and not given.
Back leg, it looked as if it might have been a touch high, but that was definitely a close one. I've seen those given before. That's out on a Saturday in league cricket.
I think Ben Rain's seen those given before as well. It's a good response after being hit for 2 consecutive boundaries to come back and follow it up. .42 for 1. Durham finished their power play 45 for 1, so very evenly matched.
That's out.
Here, that is another big LBW shout, and Ben Rain is... Well, you can see now Ollie Robinson and Ben Rain, teapots, Scott Borthwick.
Has he given it runs off the bat, or has he given
He's given it leg buys. I beg your pardon. He's gone down as runs.
That looked very adjacent on our TV screen, but as I tell the kids at school, the umpire is always right. So that definitely was not going over. Oh, that did look very close.
Ben Rain's got to dust himself down. He's got to go again. He's got 2 balls left of the power play. To bowl.
That's out.
High. Who wants it? The skipper wants it. The skipper gets it. Ben Rain puts that disappointment behind him, and Joe Clark goes for 23 off 18. Put that disappointment behind him of not getting the LBW shouts. And drop the pace. Joe Clark skies it, and Alex Lee's pouches a very easy catch. Durham have their second.
What a change of place that was. Again, not easy when the batter's coming at you like that. You've just had the disappointment of
2 LBW shouts
of
from the
2
over.
Very close LBW shouts. And to have that smartness of thought to go to a slow ball. The angry fast bowler might have come out of him then. But no, absolutely fantastic. And Alex Lee's cool as a cucumber under that high ball. 2 down in the power play. Can we get 3? Ben Rain loves a 2 and 2. I've seen him do it a few times on the stream when I've been watching.
I wonder what Alex Lees is talking to the umpires about. Is he maybe making his discontent at the LBW shouts known?
Possibly. And it looks like Neil Mallander's just having a word there. Yeah, so Scott's just saying there might have been a little bit of a send-off there from Ben Rain, but everything seems all right. It looks like Neil Pratt as well, the
standing umpire, the
man at the far end, who's brother of Gary Pratt, the Ashes 12th man legend.
We haven't got any Australians in the commentary room tonight, so we're fine on that front.
Oh, Thorpe gets so excited when Turner's going well, isn't he? He's always a bit extra in that voice.
Jack Haynes to face the final ball of the power play. It's going to go down. There's 5 wides. Going to have to bowl again. It's not what Durham want. Not spring up the 50. And they get 1 more ball of the power play.
And Colin will be the man to speak to about this. I'm not sure if he's on next. I don't think he is. Never easy taking them down. The leg side stood up. You don't really get to see much of that ball.
And Ben Rain follows it up with a peach. I think a few extra words as well. Discontent. End of the power play. Notts end it 51 for 2. Ben Rain picking up Joe Clark in a very heated over to end the power play. Danny Hazel now alongside me. Who would you give the edge to after that power play, Danny?
I think it's pretty even, to be honest. I think a couple of wickets, and I think some good shots from Joe Clark, but equally just got him out. So I think this next 6 is probably a real indicator of where this game's going.
Durham 45 for 1 off their power play. Notts end it 51 for 2. Have you enjoyed your feast over there, Scott?
You what, so up?
Callum Parkinson back into the attack. A huge WW shout given. There's the celebration from Callum Parkinson. Back into the attack after bowling the first over. Scott Borthwick's busting out the disco moves in the commentary box. Durham have their 3rd.
Yeah, spinners win games. There you go. I think, like we said, there's a big 6 coming up now. I think the pitches, we said before, the pitch is a little bit too paced, and I think the spin's going to be a huge part in these next little phase of play.
Great start from Parky. Big wicket that as well. He looked like he's started to play okay, wasn't he? But as we spoke about with our innings, you get wickets in clusters. As a field inside now, you feel like you're right on it.
Has he relished being that opening bowler for Cambo, do you reckon, in this T20 side?
But potentially, I mean, he's done it a lot. He's done it in 100 as well. He's obviously done it a lot for Leicester. He's really experienced in this format. Sorry, Rob, I'm just washing down my... What was it, Danny, we had?
Chicken gyros.
Very nice.
Yeah, I know.
Tell you what, we get well looked after, don't we, in this studio?
Yeah, you do.
Keep getting fed. But now look, Parky's an experienced bowler at this format, and I think he loves it. He loves sort of getting into the contest, getting into the battle, and he knows that playing or being a spin bowler in this format, you've got to do that. You've got to get into the battle. And you can see by his celebration when he gets wickets.
Yeah, I was about to comment on that. He's got Tom Moores in his sight, and that one, I think there's a slight inside edge that's gone through Ollie Robinson. There's a slight miscommunication in the middle. A lot going on here. He's actually going to count as byes against Robinson. But I say, yeah, with Parky, he seems like a type of guy that off the field, having spoken to him, he's a very nice, calm, lovely guy. And then as soon as he steps over the boundary rope, it's like a competitor takes over definitely. In him. He's in now, and that's a peach, and he's got the outside edge.
Look at that celebration. Go on, boy. Amazing. Great ball.
Tom Moores goes second ball. Callum Parkinson's got the ball turning. He's got the ball doing all sorts, and Durham have Notts where they want them. Ollie Robinson, a very simple catch. Notts lose their 4th.
Great balling, wasn't it? Great balling.
I reckon there's some little bit spice out there tonight. It looks like there's a
Maybe.
little bit.
I think that last over. I think Ben Rain's first over has probably just kicked a little bit of.
Definitely. Yeah, I think. I mean, that second LBW shout. I mean, we didn't have any replays of it up here, but from live, it looked absolutely.
I was gonna say you were off to the side of Mucci, and we could both evidently hear you say that's gone.
That looks stone dead. So that obviously hasn't been given. That is like fired Rainey up. He then gets out there, captain, their best player. So everyone's sort of up and about buzzing.
Parky comes back, wicket first
Parky
ball.
gets one, he's buzzing.
Then gets a second.
Yeah. Can we get a slip in here? Yes, go on, get a slip in.
How important is it now, Danny, that Durham just stamp on the throats now of the Outlaws and try and, just hammer this advantage?
Absolutely. I think now it's, obviously wickets build a huge amount of pressure, but can we get a few dot balls, new batters in? And I think that'll, that in turn makes the rate start to go up, and then you've got to kind of really start to target somebody. And I think spin's going to play a huge part in this over the next kind of 5 to 6 overs.
Well, there's no two ways of putting it. The Outlaws need a rebuild. Matthew Montgomery and Jack Haynes are the ones that are tasked with it.
2 men on naught. Great sight as a fielding side.
To push out into the covers, and Montgomery will remain on naught.
We said it halfway though as well. Like, not to a side that have really struggled in this format. So when you're playing against a side with no confidence, it's about how can you start. Can you start well? Can you get on top of them early, and then you keep the foot on the throat and making sure that you stay on top. Because when you haven't won many games and you come into the game low confidence and you get a bad start, the team naturally sink a little bit. So can you just keep that foot on the throat now? Can we get another one? Can we be greedy and go 60 for 6 and really kill off the game?
Final ball of the 7th over. It's a gentle push. There'll just be a single. Jack Haynes gets off the mark and he'll retain strike, but the Knots are going to need a lot more than that. 55 for 4. Callum Parkinson picking up 2 in his second over. And as has been the case, Scott, throughout this tournament, you wait for the power play to end and Nathan Souters chucked the ball.
Yeah, look, he's brilliant, isn't he? He's been amazing for us since he's joined. And he's a leg spinner that he really keeps the stumps in play. I mean, it sounds stupid, but he bowls a lot of top spins, a lot of googlies, looks to hit the stumps as much.
There's been a few peaches this year that he's bowled that have just completely bamboozled the batter.
Absolutely. He's very skillful. He backs himself. Another one that gets competitive when he gets wickets. We've seen a couple of big celebrations, haven't we, this year? But now he's actually bowled really well this year without actually getting the rewards. He's top wicket taker last season.
I think he topped 20.
Yeah,
20 plus in the blast.
Yeah,
picked up a 5 down at Northants first game of the year.
Yeah, he did.
Starts off well this year. He scampers after that one. I found it interesting listening to Ryan Campbell's post-match chat yesterday. He touted the idea of Nathan Souts and an England white ball setup. For those of you unaware, Nathan Sauer is a very proud Australian, so I'm not sure how Souts would feel about that one.
Well, I'm sure if England came Colin, he wouldn't turn them down. But no, that's not a bad shout, is it? You're looking at Adil Rashid, who is being unbelievable for England. He can't go on forever. He might be coming to an end. You're looking at who's your next white ball leg spinner.
Rayan Ahmed down at Leicestershire.
Yeah.
As Colonel said it, leg spin is the hardest. It's one of the hardest, arguably the hardest to bowl.
Absolutely.
And there's not a lot of them in. There's not a lot in the cupboard.
No, there's not, and it's a tough skill to do.
It says that one is pulled leg side. Good fielding from Michael Jones will keep it to single. Well, I say there's not a lot in the covers. You fancy bringing it back out, Scott?
I would love to. I absolutely love bowling, as everyone knows. But yeah, look, going back to leggies in this format, if you get a good one, they're worth the weight in gold, aren't they? They're such good wicket takers.
Big LBW shout off the reverse sweep.
I think that was his googly there as well. It's always nice when you set up here because you got the screen there. You can see right behind.
Because we have a very nice setup.
Quite easy to pick, isn't it, from behind?
Yeah. 3 singles out of the first 4 balls. That one is cut back down the pitch, but it will just be a single. Ben Dorcius is doing the fielding down there. one ball left of Souter's first over. It's been a decent one so far for him, going for just the 4 singles there. He's got Jack Haynes in sight to finish. Cramps in for room, and I think that's quite uncomfortable for Jack Haynes. But Souter gets out of it with a dot. It's 59 for 4 after 8. Mentioned there the screen here, Scott. Notts have had a week off after they've last played a T20. How much analysis do you do when you don't have games? Obviously, you don't play the T20 stuff, but how much analysis do you do when you're away from the Red Bull stuff and you're stuffing the nets with the technology you guys have available to you?
It's a very much an individual thing. I mean, we've gone away from having a really in-depth team meeting about the opposition. It's a very much an individual. Someone like a Colin Parkinson does a lot of homework, a lot of research.
Yes,
he'll be watching the Notts footage like
relentlessly.
Yeah, he'll have really done his research, and where you'll get some guys.
Come back to that thought as the reverse sweep comes out again. He's middled that, but there is a fielder out there. I think it's Graham Clark who's out there on the boundary. He's done very well to restrict it there.
I don't think Ollie Robinson does a lot of. I think he's the sort of guy who just goes out there and plays and watches the ball as it comes down.
Kind of adapts in real time.
So it's a very much an individual thing, really. Like I said, some guys do it a lot more than others, and it's whatever works for you, really. I mean, Danny, you'd be the same with the girls. It's a very much an individual thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we make it. We say to the girls that you need to have an awareness of what is going on.
Up in the air.
Yeah.
And a brilliant diving catch from the skipper. Callum Parkinson is on a roll here, and so are Durham. Scott, you mentioned 60 for 6.
Yeah.
It's 60 for 5. And the Outlaws are sinking without trace, and so are their qualification hopes.
Yeah. Brilliant ball from Parky, wasn't it? Just almost took a bit of pace off it, I think. So sort of got a little bit of spin, didn't he?
Yeah, I think.
Just held it back a bit, didn't he?
Yeah, I think we said this is a huge part of this game, and two really skillful bowlers. And equally, we've seen this, throughout the competition. Really, I think there's been a little bit. Obviously, from the first innings, we saw there was a little bit in the pitch for the spinners, and I think it's really start to show that your two world-class spinners are really taking control of the game.
Yeah, good bit of bowling. You're right. Like I say, this is where when you're on top, can you kill the game now? You know what I mean? That's what I say. Can you get a 60 for 6 and really kill the game? Yeah, good bit of captaincy from Leesy as well. He's made sure that the close fielders are nice and tight, keeping that pressure on the batters. Got a slip and play as well now, which is a real good attacking move.
Lyndon James had a very good outing with the ball for the Outlaws. He's going to need a phenomenal innings with the bat to bring them back into contention. Callum Parkinson there starts with a full one. It's just gently pushed outside. Well, at 53 for 4, you needed a rebuild. At 61 for 5. I don't want to go. I was about to say I'm not sure if I'm going to go miracle yet, but a lot needs to change quickly.
We've got to be confident in favourites now. When we at 60 for 5, yeah, I'm pretty confident we can see this one home now.
I think we'll see some bit of off spin as well at some point. The part timers potentially just try and sneak a few overs. I think that's been pretty dominant in the game so far.
Yeah.
Parkinson full. Good take from behind the stumps. Appeal does not bring about the raised finger from the umpire, but Parkinson won't care. A wicket and 2 singles from that over, putting his Durham side well on top.
Yeah, great take that as well from Ollie Robinson. Sometimes as a wicketkeeper you go a bit unnoticed in T20s. Even when you do things really good, it sort of just goes under the radar a bit, doesn't it? Because it's something you're never really focusing on in T20s. But as a spinner, you always need good keepers. And Robbo's keeping, I think, since we've signed him, has gone from strength to strength, even in the red ball format as well.
Souter to continue. Now be pushed down to Michael Jones in front of Bannatynes. Not exactly short of good wicketkeeper options. Got Ollie Robinson out there in the middle, and obviously got young Hayden coming through as well.
Yeah, Hayden's a very, very exciting talent. Obviously played with his dad Phil, who's in the studio tonight as well, who was also an exciting cricketer to play with and be on the field with at times is Gordon. Will vouch for that as well. I think Phil was almost he's almost ahead of his time, wasn't he? He was that exciting one-day T20 player, but almost 15 years ago. I think if he'd have played now, he would have been probably a lot richer with all these T20 competitions around the world.
Don't tempt him. We'll get the pads back out. Attempted slog sweep after a reverse sweep connection from Montgomery, but James is not able to bring that one. Danny mentioned they're trying to maybe buy a couple of overs of off spin here. Scott, as Souter looks to bowl his fourth delivery over, just go for a single. Which one of the part-timers would you be turning to out there? Would you be leaning towards Ackermann
Probably Ackermann, yeah.
Is that it? Does he bowl a bit more top spin on his deliveries?
He actually bowls a lot of sliders. I think he want to go around the wicket and almost fizz them in and almost slide them. Not a big spinner of the ball, but he'll keep the stumps in play. That's good fielding there.
Good stop
from Ash. Good fielding
from Turner, keeping the pressure on the Outlaws. So almost a bit cramping him up for room as well?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Like I say, he'll keep the stumps in play. He'll almost get more drift than spin.
That one keeps low, and it'll just be a single. Another halfway point. Nottinghamshire Outlaws 65 for 5. Durham, in contrast, was 72 for 3.
She's going to stay there. Will they hold Parkinson back, but they're going to go for it. They're going to looks like they're going to bowl him out, and try and kill the game, really.
At figures of 3 overs, no maidens, but 3 for 9, I think.
Keep him going, wouldn't you? I think as well, there's still 2 freshest batsmen in there as well, so while he's on top, I think bowl him out. We've still got plenty of options if need be. So ball him out. Can he sneak in a little 4 for here?
Fuller from Parkinson, and Montgomery's not able to pierce the infield. Into his final over. Outstanding figure so far. And there's the reverse sweep again. It's a lovely looking shot, but only get a single for it. But the risk that comes with, Danny, is that if you miss that reverse sweep, if it hits you on your pad, you're probably walking back to the sheds.
Oh, absolutely. But I think it's T20 cricket. You've got to back your own skill. You've got to back what you practice every day in, day out. So but it looks like Durham set a really good feel for that. To be honest, a lot of, like Scott said before, Parkinson obviously does a lot of research, and he's got his kind of backward point out there rather than having him in a cover position.
Yeah. I think reverse sweep as well. It's one of those shots where when you see a guy do it, you get a bit excited because you think if he misses that, it's out. But on the flip side, if someone can reverse sweep you well, you become a really hard batter to bowl to, because you can actually hit me both ways, and it's an extra boundary option, isn't it?
You two make my job so much easier. You two make my job a lot easier. I can just leave you to do the commentary from here.
Catch it, Parky.
Ooh, just past.
Brilliant fielding from Baz, that.
Yeah, was onto it straight away.
Yeah, great athlete, isn't he, Baz the leader? He was fast, got around there and chucked it in at pace.
He's one of the better footballers, I understand, in your warm-up sessions.
Well, with his Dutch background, he thinks he's a young Dennis Bergkamp.
This one tucked away into the leg side to another Dutchman in Ackermann.
Yeah, I mean, Bass is actually a very good footballer. He looks like he's one of those guys that is a good all-round sportsman.
At school, he's the kind of guy you admire from afar, but up close you kind of have a little bit of apathy for. Parkinson is full and straight, and that is a fantastic full-length diving stop from Michael Jones to protect.
Jesus, Jonesy, that's outstanding.
To protect the boundary, and Callum Parkinson finishes.
Parky, hats off, mate. Amazing spell of bowling.
He finishes his 4 overs, 3 for 15. It's going to be a change up here in the commentary box. The run rate currently for the Outlaws sitting at 6.5 and over. The required rate, sits at 10s as the Colonel comes to sit alongside me. Well, Phil, don't think it could have gone any better from Durham's point of view.
I think that's it's an amazing start for Durham, I think. Obviously, we discussed at the half-time interval about seamers and spin. We thought spin would be better off further down, and that's generally what happened. But Durham put themselves in a great position now.
71 for 5 off 11 overs and 1 ball for the Outlaws, trying to chase down 161 to win and keep their slim chances of qualification. A very quick single direct hit here. Would have been interesting. Just wide of the stumps. Colonel deciding he wants a new headset.
Yeah, that was a bit loud, that one. Yeah, I've never seen Scotty Borthwick so excited about the fielding. Deep square before. Unbelievable.
Sweep is out, but it's straight to the man. Graham Clark out there on the boundary. We saw it a little bit in the middle overs with Durham's innings, the inability to find boundaries, and they go a couple of overs without one and then they find one, and just how important is it that the Outlaws don't allow that to become their reality as well and just try and keep attacking that boundary rope?
I think obviously when Durham's got the 2 spinners bowling, they haven't got too many boundaries, but it's key to any success that you need to find a boundary option, and if you've got to take a couple of risks, we've seen a few reverse sweeps and we've seen a few sweep shots, but I think you've got to take the risk to get to look for the boundary.
Salter again, another good start to this over. The reverse sweeps out again, but Ben Rain is very alert to it on the discs at short third. 1 ball left in the over. Where would you be tempted to look? Obviously, Callum Parkinson's bowled out. Where would you be tempted to look? Would you be looking at going back to someone like Baz Deleda, who did well from the Finkel end earlier on?
I think you've got to rotate. I think we touched early on that. The more you rotate, the less time the batter's got a chance.
Nathan Salter! Have some of that. Sorry, Colonel, for cutting across you, but Nathan Salter has sent those stumps into smithereens, and he's further pressing home Durham's advantage here. Lyndon James goes for 7. He could not pick Nathan Salter there, and Durham look to wrap this game up early.
I think Salter's been a brilliant signing. What's he been, 2 years? 3 years?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I think he's been a brilliant signing for the white ball team. Hey? You don't need to turn a badge, do you? You know all about that.
Liam Patterson-White comes out not 75 for 6, and I'm now inclined to agree with Scott Borthwick. They do need a miracle from this point onwards. Chasing 161, 8 overs left, 86 required from their remaining 8. And it's not going to be Baz Deleda, it's going to be Ben Rain. He's going to have a switch of ends. He bowled his opening over from the Lumley end. He switched ends to come down to the Finkel end. Ollie Robinson's going to stand back to start with. I wonder how soon it'll be before he comes up to the stumps, maybe if Montgomery decides to come out of his ground to the experienced Rain. He'll step away, he'll cut away. It's just wide of Ashton Turner. Montgomery picks up a much-needed boundary for the Outlaws.
Yeah, it's very interesting because early on he stood up to Ben Rain, didn't he?
Yeah.
So now, obviously, I think he's feeling a little bit under the pump, so he decided to go back. It's a little bit of an easier job when the ball's not zipping around a bit. So it'll be interesting because if they nick it, he's got to be able to catch it. So that's what we need. We need to just keep putting pressure on the wickets.
That one is so frustrating for Ben Rain to take. It's the edge you talked about, Colonel, but this is T20 cricket. There is no slips there. Scott Borthwick's not in there with his Durham cap on and his Durham whites to pouch that one at first slip. It's another boundary for the Outlaws.
It's been amazing. I was just outside before listening to the crowd. The crowd was singing. It was unbelievable to listen to.
Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night
Lights at Seat Unique Riverside.
I think it's one of the biggest crowds we had this season, I think. And they said there's quite a few people in, so...
Back of a length from Rain. Hooked round the corner. That's going to be 3 fours in a row. Matthew Montgomery is looking to propel the Outlaws, I think.
Wow, this is a...
There is no better form of defence than attack.
Amazing after the two spinners went for, 7 overs for 20, 22 or 24, give or take.
27 so far, with Parkinson taking 3 for 15 and Souter currently sitting 1 for 12 from his 3. He'll no doubt bowl out from the far end next over, but mentioned Ben Rain, Durham's leading wicket taker so far in the Blasters 17. He's not quite had the start tonight. He's picked up the wicket, but he's been a tad expensive. Oh, and that one just escapes Baz Delader's grasp at mid-on. Matthew Montgomery is on the charge.
Yeah, he seems to be... He doesn't seem to have a right game plan for the batsman. And I think he's tried a little bit of a slow ball there, dragged it down a bit, sat up. He bowled a couple of wide ones, got nicked through past the keeper. I think Ben Rain needs to go back to what he's very good at. I think he needs to hit the block hole, what you do at the end. We've got to stop these boundaries. I think 4 boundaries and 4 balls, so you need to rethink.
Backs away, gives himself room, delayed his round, and it will be a single to bring on Liam Patterson-White for his first ball. 7 overs left after this delivery. This over's been a little bit of a check, hasn't it, for Durham?
Yes, it has. Scotty Borthwick was just on here saying start the engine sort of thing, but I think Montgomery's got different ideas, I think. So, and that's what T20 is all about. T20 is about match winners, and if you get 1 or 2 match winners in a game, they can change it all. So Montgomery's in that mode at the moment.
Robinson up to the stumps for Patterson-White. Ben Rain back on the money outside.
Beautiful, well bowled.
Yeah, Jim, well taken from Robinson, but the Outlaws will take heart from that. 17 runs coming from Ben Rain's second over, just what they needed after losing wickets. 92 for 6. They're not fully out of it. 69 required to win off their remaining 7. They are going to need to go some to do it, but they're not out of the question yet.
Yeah, I think another wicket, one wicket here, I think it could be game over. But I think until you get Montgomery out there, there's always a big opportunity for Notts to steal this, where we thought Durham were on top.
Well, it will be Nathan Souter to finish off his allocation of 4 overs. Currently 1 for 12 from his 3. Durham need him to be economical here. Gentle turn round the corner. First up for Montgomery. 30 off 23 for him. We saw Ben Rain come out with the bat and kind of time it straight away. That's a little bit what Montgomery's done here. Obviously had to wait a little bit for his opportunity, but is now kind of, he knows it's mostly on him now to see the Outlaws home if they've got any chance.
I think look back at the Durhams. I think obviously Ben Rain and Ashton Turner put on a nice little partnership. So White's job now is just to get Montgomery back on strike, rotate it.
Ooh, and, almost
and let him do the damage.
Stumps. Almost an inside edge back onto his own stumps there. Run rate sitting at 7 and over now for the Outlaws, and required run rate is sitting at just above 10 and over. So the sun starts to peek through the clouds that have been here for the majority of the game.
Beautiful. Kind of see out the window.
That's why we've got the screen right in front of you, Colonel. Nice flight in that delivery from Souter, and it's pushed away. So Notts losing their wickets 6 for 1, 46 for 2, 51 for 3, 53 for 4, 60 for 5, and then 75 for 6. As we talked, it's just losing them in clumps.
Yeah, we spoke of that just at the half-time break, but I think Souter, he's got 2 balls to go. If he can get away without any boundaries, then...
Oh, he might be picking up a wicket here. He is indeed! Graham Clark, cool as you like on the fence. Montgomery goes. It's 94 for 7. The danger man has been removed, and Durham are looking good with just over 6 overs left.
It's great bowling. He's nearly finished his 4 overs for not too many runs and built the pressure. Him and Parkinson put the pressure on Nottingham, and it's it showed good spirit.
The counter-attack has been brought to an abrupt end by Nathan Souter, who's becoming Durham's Mr. Reliable in this T20 blast. Had a fantastic campaign last year, led all bowlers in wickets taken, picked up a 5 in the first game of the season down at Northampton. That was also Graham Clark's big day out with the bat. Got a century off the last ball of the chase for him. But focusing on the here and now, Alex Lees marshalling his troops around, and I think he's putting himself in at slip for Souter's last ball. Single, dot, single wicket. Can he get away? Can he end the over on a positive note? Got Calvin Harrison on strike. First ball. Reverse swept round the corner, but no real venom in it. Nottinghamshire 95 for 7. Nathan Souter finishes his 4 overs. 2 for 15 from him. And Durham spinners have given Alex Lees a lot of control in this game. And it looks like I alluded to it with Scott Borthwick. And Danny Hazel said that she was expecting some off spin to be brought in. And Scott Borthwick said he'd be going Colin Ackermann. It is off spin and it is Colin Ackermann.
I think it's a great plan with a big boundary on the leg side to the right-handers. So I think it's a great plan. Get through your overs as fast as you can. Now, the last thing you want is miss a cut-off time. But
yeah, I think the cut-off time on the electric scoreboard saying is 21:16. I think is the cut-off time. 20 minutes to bowl 6 overs. As Ackermann is in, they've got to push for 2. You think it's sent back. Also trying to buy an extra over of seam towards the back end of the innings. Ben Rain's obviously not been as economical as Alex Lees would have liked.
Yeah, I think right now you want to have a quick squeeze for 1 or 2 overs. 2 new batters in, quick squeeze, get through the overs, and then see where it takes you near the end. So I think it's a perfect ploy from Lees, and I think that's what they're going to do. Get through 1 or 2 overs, quick one now and then, see where it takes in the last 2 overs.
Ackermann's going to come around the wicket to Patterson White, who has got that short boundary in his eye line, but Ackermann hanging that outside the off stump is going to make him do all the hard work and pull it all the way to that short boundary. So all the time that the boundary rope's not being found, it's that pressure. Just keep
huge
ticking.
Pressure. Run rate going up to 11.8 now, so it just keep climbing and climbing and climbing.
Again, just the squeeze.
Big squeeze. Three up on the offside. 1 deep. No room for anything, really.
Big attempt at a shot. A very good tumbling catch from Baz de Leede. Colin Ackermann strikes in his first over. Durham pick up their 8th. And look to be picking up steam ahead of the final 2 rounds of this Vitality Blast campaign. Very good athleticism there from
Very good athleticism. I thought he got turned a little bit there, but he ran backwards really athletic. And I think we touch on a little bit. He's the best footballer on the team. He can do everything. So he just showed backward point. He can just play football and as well as cricket.
Durham's Dutch disciples combining for that wicket. Not 96 for 8 and seem, well, not seem, they are well behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, they are well behind the 8 ball, and Ollie Stone's coming into bat now, so I think they're in a little bit of trouble at this moment in time.
Back over the wicket, Ackermann, 2 Stone. Flicked round the corner, but a man's there. It's just a single off Ackermann's first over, and he brings about a wicket as well. Just what Alex Lees wanted. 96 for 8. 5 overs remaining. 65 required for the Outlaws to pull off a unlikely victory from here. Gordon Mutchell decides that he's had enough of sitting on the sidelines. He wants to be back in the commentary booth. Since you last in, Mutch, a lot's happened.
Colonel, action-packed as a player, action-packed as a commentator. Wickets, runs, diving stops. Absolutely fantastic.
You do agree with this change?
That's
Benny
why we've always been good friends, Gordy.
Agree with this change, Mutchie, bringing in Benny Dorshus back?
Oh, definitely. I think just take the game away, try and get these 2 wickets as fast as we can, improve that run rate. Looks like
high, handsome. Who wants it? Graham Clark does. The 9th goes down. Notts' night is ending in terror as Durham look to be cruising to victory. 96 for 9. Ben Dorshus back into the attack and back with a wicket. Someone told Andy that we're almost finished. He needs to get back in. He needs to get back in the new studio.
Well, you need to get your own back here after he was selling you out for not being here at the start of the innings. You were here on time, Rob.
I thought we ran a professional ship around here.
Well, he's still got 1 wicket to go. He only has to dive through this door, to be fair.
Scotty Borthwick just bouncing in the background here. Loving it. Love watching cricket, don't you, lad?
Scotty gets his crystal ball out very early in these games, and each time I think, Scotty, please, no, just...
Well, he's called Badger for a reason.
He's done it twice now. Very impressive, Scotty.
I think at this point he's going to have to come back on Sunday. I don't know if you've got any plans, Scott, on Sunday, but I think you're going to be required here.
I'll have to ask the wife.
Faruqi is out at number 11 as the sun starts to head in for the day up in the northeast. Certainly still shining on Durham's fielders. Been a remarkable effort so far. The gentle push out to Baz Delader, 97 for 9. And Mitch, after a very disappointing game last night, bundled all out for 107. Didn't quite assess the conditions. Ryan Campbell loves problem solving. Scott knows all about that problem solving. I think they've solved pretty well tonight.
Yeah, brilliant. I think that innings from Ashton Turner really just put us out of sight there. It was easy. He was behind a runner ball for a long time, and he kept his head. And that partnership with Ben Rain at the end has ultimately proved invaluable here. And it's just meant that the Notts batsmen have had to keep going. They've never been ahead of that rate. Real professional performance so far. Just need to take this last wicket. And as I say, I think results are going our way around the country as well, which is also pleasing.
.97 for 9. Stone on strike to Ben Dorshus. Sliced away. Delader shows off his athleticism, flicks it back inside the rope. Batters came back for 2, 99 for 9. As we mentioned there, Mitch, Lancashire and Yorkshire not able to get on tonight at Old Trafford. So they'll take a point each from that abandoned fixture. Stone hoiks leg side, but harmlessly into the hands of Ashton Turner.
Another great change of pace there. And not to bring up the 100. 1 wicket to go. Like you say, if they had wickets in hand now, you're never quite out of it. They are behind the 8 ball. But the fact we've managed to keep taking wickets, I thought Parkinson was absolutely brilliant in those middle overs. And he just gives the batsman no respite. He's always at you. And his celebrations are even better.
Dorshus around the wicket, carved. Lovely shot from Faruqi. Ends the 16th over with a flourish. But it all looks to be too little too late as Danny Hazel walks back into the commentary booth. I think safe to say it's gone pretty well, Danny.
Yeah, I stayed on the corridor, hadn't I? Didn't think I was going to get back on there, but yeah, let's finish this off nice and quickly now, and look forward to the next game.
Our next game comes here on Sunday against the Northants Steelbacks, and that could be a very pivotal game in terms of qualification for the quarterfinals. Durham looking to end their barren run of not getting out of the group stage of this Vitality T20 Blast. Ackermann to continue. Gentle stroll through for a single. Just how important is it, Danny, that, as Much kind of alluded to, just getting that bad result immediately out the way from last night and immediately getting back on the front foot? It looks like they're going to take the win here. How important is that, just to get the bad taste of defeat out the mouth straight away? As Ackermann is in, and that will land harmlessly for a single. So yeah, just how important is it just to get straight back on the winning for Durham?
Yeah, exactly. I think sometimes, as I say, winning can be a habit, and equally so can losing. And I think the quicker you can get back on the horse and then turn that around, the better, really.
Attempted swipe across the line, and that will be a leg by Robinson, just running off to field that one.
I have to admit, you've had a good slog tonight. You've done well. You've done a good few hours on there.
Earning my cash, Danny. Earning my cash. Big shot. Oh, it's gone all the way. Nathan Satter was interested right down in front of us for a little bit, and then felt the Toblerones underneath his boots. As finally, towards the end of the game, the head jokes start getting brought out for Gordon Mutchell.
It's unfortunately, it's thinning a little bit on top as well. So not only am I getting the head jokes, I'm now getting the ball jokes, which I used to take the mick out Neil Colin quite a bit about his lack of hair. So it's just coming back to bite me.
Boots on the other foot now. Big hit again from Faruqi. It's going to be one bounce and collected. Just be a single as well. 114 for 9. Outlaws needing 47 more for victory in what would be, I think, quite a remarkable turn of events if they were able to come round and pick this one up. Ooh. Big swing, no ding from Ollie Stone to end that one.
That's rude, that, isn't it? That's rude.
The kids at school absolutely love that, isn't it?
114 for 9, 3 left.
It's waited all game for that, isn't he? All game. Rascal.
Will be Ben Dorcius to bowl out. Very good game from him, 1 for 18. And Muchi, someone who's came into the team, then had to step out when David Benningham was here. He's now had to step back in, been the ultimate professional. If you speak to any of the lads, he'll be very pleased with his performance tonight, won't he?
Yeah, that's it. And he came back that first game back and got them over the line, bowling the death overs.
So that one's carved away to backward point for a single.
And he set the tone really well with that second over in the game. He asked some good questions of the Notts batsmen, didn't let them get away, and there's a couple flew through just to put a few demons in the batter's head. No, absolutely brilliant signing again. I think obviously the think tank in the wind era, what sort of overseas do we want? And a big tall left armour definitely ticks a lot of boxes. And he's also come in and chipped in with a few lusty blows at the end of the innings as well.
Then here to Ollie Stone, who puts this one back past him, I think. Oh, another very good diving stop. The fielding tonight from Durham has been very good. It's got to be difficult as well, Danny, for someone who probably wasn't thinking he was going to be playing some T20 Blast cricket up in the North East. He's obviously a late replacement for Scott Boland, so to be able to come in to adapt himself, I think he'll also be very happy with that. And it says a lot that he's taken to the dressing room, a bit like a duck to water.
Yeah, and I think when you have when you got all these competitions that people are able to go to now, I think that goes a long way. And when you're selecting sides and when you're selecting overseas as well.
Carved, but straight to rain.
Oh, he's lost a bit of bat, man. Looks a bit.
He has as well.
He's got a good moustache as well. He hasn't quite got the Merv Hughes. I think if we get him back next year, he should try and grow the Merv Hughes in. But no, again, another brilliant delivery. And I think, as I say, he's definitely a good acquisition to the side.
That one might be for the bin, I reckon.
Yep.
You saw that often used as a catching bat, Danny?
Why, absolutely. Send over here, pal. I'll need that soon.
Waste not, want not, and all that.
Don't need that after, I still a bit in the middle.
It comes to something when the number 11 has 5 bats.
I guess
bought out
I
to choose.
was going to say, how many, when you were playing Muchie, how many bats did the number 11s in your side tend to carry about?
Harmy didn't carry a bat. He used to borrow on the other lads. Simon Brown, I don't think, took any pads anywhere. But no, obviously nowadays everyone's got to try and bat up, and then, you know, if he needs 5 bats, he needs 5 bats.
2.5 overs left. Another attempted hoik across the line from Stone, but he's not able to connect with the bat.
At least we've had some good weather tonight, haven't we? It's been
we had that brief
yeah,
potential
a little bit of
threat
drizzle,
of rain.
but I think in general it's been a good night. It's been a good crowd. Should be about to see a Durham win, hopefully on this ball.
Tempted. Ramshaw, do you reckon he saw Ben Rain play that one earlier? Was there like, I can one up that, I can do one better? That shows the evolution of the game when you've got number 11s who are coming out and playing this sort of shot in T20. It just shows how, as you say, Muchie, everyone's got to be able to bat. Everyone's got to be able to bat in this game.
Yeah, and Colonel mentioned it. You've got to have boundary options. And if he's struggling to hit in front of square, maybe you have to go behind square. But no, I don't think Ollie's looking to get in behind these ones and pull them over mid-wicket. He's getting himself out the way and trying to deflect.
Slower ball from Dorcius to end his evening. He'll end on 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 22, 5.5 and over. Very economical performance from him. Just what Alex Lees wants, and it looks like it's going to be Ben Rain to be brought back from the Finkel end. Had the couple overs of squeeze with Colin Ackermann, and now Lees is going to his tried and trusted
I
Ben Rain.
thought they'd sneak a bit of off spin in the middle. Spin's had a huge say in this game so far, and Ben Rain as well to come on and maybe clean up another wicket. He's probably not had his best or luckiest day so far with the ball, so nice to clean up a wicket here.
He has Ollie Stone, who's got 7 from 12. It's a slower ball to start, and that one stung Ollie Robinson's palms.
Also nice, it hasn't gone his way tonight, just to come in and practice his little death ball, and obviously he's going to be a big part going forward if we are to go a long way in this competition. Not that he ever lacks confidence, I don't think, Ben Rain. He always has a little bit of strut on there, and he backs himself every time he gets an opportunity to win a game with the bat or the ball.
Full and straight and dug out nicely by Stone, who will jog down to the non-striker's end. Umpire not quite happy with Nathan Soughton not, I think, returning that one on the full. It's normally a couple of bounces in white ball for throwing the ball back, and the umpire just gently reminding Southern what is expected. Big under edge there from Faruqi. Durham just have to be a little bit mindful of the cut-off time. I think that says 21:19.
You can see that?
Just about.
Wow.
Just about, Danny, yeah.
Maybe that's why I finished playing. I can't see the scoreboard anymore. You can't see it.
Harmy had to see it last time. He's got unbelievable eyes, Harmy.
119 for 9. Again, slower ball, and there's a bit of a do we, don't we? Your call, my call, and eventually they will jog through for a single.
Oh, there we are. I can see
Thank
that
you
now.
very much, cameraman.
Thank you. I can see that now. Yeah, much appreciated.
Ben Rain, first of his final 2 of the evening.
Catch.
Oh, almost able to get a caught and bowled to wrap it off, but it will be a single.
Looks like it took him by a little bit by surprise there. It's been a good over from Ben Rain. He can definitely take a bit more confidence out of this. Hopefully he can just fire one of them Yorkers through as he tries to give himself some room.
Oh.
He went the other way.
He's been very unlucky to not pick up a wicket there. Nice and full and straight from the experienced campaigner. He ends his evening 3 overs, 1 for 37, but it'll be his innings with the bat, Muchie, that's probably what will be remembered most for giving Durham the right impetus when it was required to kick-start their innings towards the back end.
Yeah, that partnership at the end, I think someone said it at the time, it might have been Scott, that was going to be the game-changing partnership, and ultimately it's proved to be. If he doesn't get you with the ball, he gets you with the bat, doesn't he, Ben? He's always in the action.
Alex Lees has chucked the ball to Baz Delayder, who picked up a wicket, first ball of his spell. He currently has figures of 2 overs, 1 for 18. He's going to have the duty of seeing out these final 6 legal deliveries. He'd love to pick up a second wicket for his troubles. Ooh. You have to bowl that one again, though. Straying just wide of that blue tram line.
I think you're right, though. Before you said, the game, obviously the game is a long, long way away for Notts at the moment, but it is an opportunity to practice some of your death bowling skills of what's going to come in the kind of the next few games, really. So it's not a situation just to put the ball there.
Is a slower ball, loops over Nathan Souter's head. It's going to run away for 4 as well. You mentioned the ability to bring out the slower ball and get that extra practice in. He obviously won't be happy with it going for 4, but it's as much the process, isn't it, as much as anything? Yeah,
it's an opportunity to put your skills under pressure, and to knowing that when you need them in a game where maybe they only need 10 or 12 off last over, you've kind of had that moment to try them skills out, really.
Bold.
And there's the full Yorker from Dutchman. Able to be squeezed away by Ollie Stone for a single. He's got 14 from 17. Faruqi 15 off 9. It's been a decent end from these two, Gordon, but just not enough in those middle overs.
No, unfortunately, being given too much to do. And like you say, it's probably one of the better partnerships of their innings. But no, another clinical performance from Durham, I think, with the ball. And as I say, we go into Sunday with a bit more confidence on the back of a win.
Yeah. As we mentioned, that cut-off time 21:19. The camera just showed it is 21:17. So Delayder is going to have to get a bit of a move on here in order to try and avoid any potential issues with over 8. Bangs that one in short.
We've just got to start the last over by then, so I think we're all right.
All good.
It's handy having a budding umpire in the room as well. Phil Mustard keeps us right.
Again, short and attempted to be pulled into the pavilion. No contact. 2 balls remain on what will bring Durham their 6th win of the campaign. They'll pick up 2 points. They'll leapfrog Derbyshire for the moment into that 4th and final qualification spot in that North group. And they face Northampton on Sunday for a huge battle. Short again. It would land safely before Nathan Souter, and 1 ball left. Notts 128 for 9, and Durham, as I say, closing in on that 6th win of the competition.
Absolutely fantastic. 4 on the bounce at home as well.
Ryan Campbell's spoken about making this place a fortress once more, and I think he is on the way to make it so. I think he'll be slightly disappointed that unless Baz Delayder picks up this one, just not able to take that final wicket, but ultimately wins the win. You move on. Final ball of the game. It's attempted ramp shot. Oh, an attempted one-handed screamer from, I think it's Callum Parkinson out there. It won't run for 4. Nathan Souter will pull it up inside the rope. Durham record a resounding victory at the Seat Unique Riverside. It was Ben Rain and Ashton Turner with the bat. It was Baz Deleda, Callum Parkinson and Nathan Salter with the ball. Contributions all round. Nottinghamshire Outlaws end 130 for 9. Their group stage is brought to an end. They have no hopes of qualifying for the knockout stages after this loss tonight. Durham very much in the picture. And Gordon Mutchell, that Sunday game is now a big, big, big encounter.
Absolutely massive. We win that one, we're well on the way to them quarterfinals. And as I say, what a day of sport. Get yourself down here at the Seat Unique Riverside, watch that, and then go and watch England win the European Cup final.
It's coming home.
Danny, final words from you on what's been a very good performance from Durham this evening?
Yeah, obviously really good performance. Looking forward to now, obviously Sunday. And it's a huge opportunity for Durham to get themselves into quarter-final.
It is indeed. Well, Durham pick up another win at home in the Vitality T20 Blast, and I think you've all had enough of listening to me and my voice, so I'm going to hand you back to Andy Sixsmith to bring you some post-match analysis as Durham record yet another victory.
Rob, thank you very much, and congratulations on your marathon stint. I've done nothing but hear your voice over the last 2 hours. It's lucky that Durham won, and after those 2 defeats on the road, it's back to home comforts. 4 home wins on the spin in the Vitality T20 Blast, and most importantly of all, it has Durham into those top 4 spots and in pole position to qualify from a Vitality T20 Blast North group. Delighted to say that our commentary team were dancing, of course, with regards to that win. What moves are Scott Borthwick and Phil Mustard going to be busting out at full time? Scott, what's the move that you go to?
I've definitely seen Phil Mustard do the worm a couple of times.
Now, I don't know if these cameras go down low enough to see Phil Mustard do the worm.
Gordon is actually laughing and shaking his head because we both know we've actually seen him do the worm a couple of times.
Well, if we can, before the next game against the Steelbacks on Sunday, get video evidence of this, Colonel, would you be up for it or not?
You got absolutely no chance.
Shy Ben's getting out, mate.
The worm's meant to go backwards.
Shy Ben's getting out. Shy Ben's getting out. Listen, what a win. I mean, it's a resounding win, I think Rob described it as on commentary. And that pretty much sums it up. Professional, though, Scott, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought we absolutely got us spot on that second half. I thought Leesy's bowling changes was spot on.
Yeah.
Our 2 spinners throughout the middle were amazing. Parky and South again. They keep doing it time and time again for us. And Parky with the figures he got was 3 for 15, which is amazing. And I thought his control of pace was amazing to see. He got a couple to spin from the slower ball. But now amazing. And look, the bowlers will get the credit, but we said at half time that partnership, that last 4 overs with Ash Turner and Ben Rain, that's that match winning partnership to get us to a score of 160. Amazing professional job.
It just took it away, didn't it, from Notts? But also, it kind of fired us up a little bit, didn't it, Colonel? Kind of coming back out the sheds and realising we had the birth of that extra 20 or 30 runs that were always going to prove too difficult for Notts to get.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we discussed at half-time about the 160. I think that was always going to be a challenge. Yeah. I think we've seen what the pitch was doing early on. And I think the way Durham came out with the 2 seamers early doors and then squeezed very tight with the 2 spinners, I thought the fielding was unbelievable. Yeah. They were diving around, they were stopping, they were great run-outs. I think that all in all, I think the fielding team was really, really strong today. And I've seen it on a number of occasions, but today they were outstanding.
There was some primeval noises coming from Scott Borthwick about the fielding, wasn't there, on commentary, you know?
Like, it's great to see, you know, like, I love it when I'm playing and we see lads that dive around and stop the ball, and it's great to see. I mean, Jones's stop down there at mid-on was outstanding. He did another one. I thought Baz Deleda was brilliant in the field as well, and it's great to see like the skill level now with T20s. I mean, I'm sounding old by saying this, but it's gone through the roof. Like, you can't afford to be a passenger in the field, and we're a really young, fit squad, and it's amazing to see when we field really well.
So Scotty was dancing, but the bowling unit was stotting mad after a couple of LBW shouts from Ben Rain. I mean, we didn't see a replay necessarily of it, but I mean, I'm next door, and I could hear the shouts from all 5 of you. I mean, Ben Rain was fuming after that, but actually it led to Callum Parkinson returning and looking just as mad, and obviously that fired up Callum Parkinson, got the wickets.
Yeah, I think obviously you look back at the video and you think maybe was an LBW, but I think the next ball, I think he got a wicket as well. I think it was.
Yeah.
So he put the disappointment away from being turned down a decision, and he got straight back onto it and got a wicket the next ball. So that just shows the professionalism that they've got, and get on with your job, and that's what they've done.
And it seemed to fire up the team as well, Scotty, didn't it?
Yeah, it did actually. I think, and Rainey's that type of character and that type of personality. Like when he's in the battle, he's in the contest, lads will jump on board with him.
Yeah.
And I think that's really impressive to see. And I mean, look, Colonel's the umpire here. I mean, as soon as it hit him, it looked absolutely stone dead.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, I mean, you could tell by Rainey's appeal, it was like, yes, that's out.
Yeah.
It wasn't it was that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
it wasn't
He didn't
an
ask the
appeal as
question.
such.
He
Yeah.
just thought, and it was obviously a big wicket with Joe Clark as well.
Yeah.
But then obviously that not getting given, you could tell it just fired everyone up. And to get him at the next ball, Parky comes on, gets 2 and over, and I just love his celebrations every time he gets a wicket anyway. So you could tell the lads just jumped on board with Rainey, which, like I say, is so impressive to see.
I was going to say, his celebrations from Callum Parkinson, I mean, it's reminiscent of an Ollie Watkins at Euro 2024, isn't it, Colonel? He just runs off. I thought he was going to do a knee slide, that second one.
Yeah, I think that just shows the character that he is. I think if you look back you've got Imran Tahir, for example. He does exactly the same. He's passionate what he does. He wants to do the best of the team. He wants to energise the crowd. He wants to do all of that, and getting wickets, that's the only way he can do it. And he showed that today, and he showed that he's really fighting for what he wants to do. And I think it's brilliant to see, and I wish more people done that.
Yeah. I was going to say, I would love to see a bowler do a knee slide.
I don't think Nick would.
Like, imagine, you see these footballers who score goals and run the corner flag. Imagine if Parky just did a Klinsman on a square. Or like a big knee slide.
Do you think we're far away from that?
Oh, no.
I would hope
to
not.
be fair, if there's anyone that's going to do it, it's probably Parky.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Out of that T22?
Or Ravanelli, put his top above his...
wow, now we're going back into the annals of 1990s football.
Nah, it's class to see, isn't it? Like, he's really good. He's really passionate.
Yeah.
To see how much it means to him. And he's a real competitor. And I think that's the beauty of him when he gets on the field, especially in this format. He gets into the battle, he gets into the contest, and you can see that it really means to him.
Not that any of our boys necessarily do, but if they do fancy watching Durham live back from tonight, and any of them do fancy doing a celebration in the next home match against the Steelbacks whenever a wicket or an excellent score is maintained, feel free to get in contact with us, lads. Tell us exactly what celebrations you're going to do, although probably not an East slide. Speaking of celebrations, what's Ryan Campbell thinking, do you reckon, Colonel, in that dressing room?
I think obviously the loss of toss and probably didn't want to do what they wanted to do, so I think that was a disappointment.
Yeah.
But I think looking back now, bowling them out for 110 or whatever it was, I think it was. I think he'll be in the dressing room going, "What a great fight back from yesterday." Boys showed your character.
Yeah.
You show what you're made of, and if we can do that going forward in the next 2 games, even if we win one of them games, we're going to qualify. So I think that's exactly what he'd be saying. He'd be going, enjoy the success, but we've still got 2 games to go.
It's a fantastic position, isn't it? Like, for Durham to be in. I mean, even looking at results elsewhere tonight, obviously Lancashire, Yorkshire was called off. Leicestershire are on the cusp potentially of beating the Steelbacks. The results seemingly all going Durham's way with 2 games remaining, Scott.
Yeah, look, it's in our hands.
Yeah.
And if you said at the start of the competition, after those first 2 defeats, you go, like, you're going to go into the last 2 games of the competition with it being in our hands. You're bitten the hand off for that.
Absolutely.
And there'll be hopefully another good crowd here on Sunday against Northants, which is a massive game because I think they're just one a bit above us, aren't they, in the table. So we beat them on Sunday. And look, that's going to put us in a really, really good position. And it's in our hands. And like I said earlier on at the start of the match, this is the exciting time of year where as a cricketer you want to play, you want to go out there and put on a show and you know get us that win to qualify.
And we've seen the progression of Durham in all formats really, especially over the last year or two in particular. How much extra would it add then, Colonel, if they can kind of add T20, which I think Rob referenced it in commentary. It's not exactly been a happy hunting ground of a format for Durham in recent years. We struggle to make the quarters. What would it say about how this club is progressing if they can make the quarters this season?
Yeah, I think going back however many years, 5-10 years, we've always been up and down. We've always won games, we've always lost games, and we always there or thereabouts near the end. We just never quite get there.
Yeah.
And I think looking over the last 2 years, obviously winning Division 2 Championship, going into one-day stuff, going into 2020 stuff. It looks like they've got a team spirit and a way of playing cricket. And you're going to lose games the way we play. We play positive. We play with great intent. Yeah. But I think overall, I think you can see where the team's going. And overall, I think they're getting the full backing from the coach and all the coaching staff, captain, everybody else. So on the outside, looking in, I think they look like they're in a great position. Yeah. Obviously, there's two games to go coming up, but if we can get one more win there, I think it's going to be a great success to move into the next quarters, and then from there, anybody can do anything.
Absolutely. And to round us off very, very quickly, I mean, we're slightly biased on Durham Live, so I imagine I know what the answers are already going to be to this ridiculous question. To round us off, but did Durham do it, both of you? Scott, they're making the quarters? I'm putting you on the spot here now.
Yeah, look, we've got to say yes. I mean, look, we showed tonight that was a brilliant performance. With bat and ball, yes, there was little hiccups in the batting innings, but we finished so strongly. And like we said, with the bowling unit there, was so professional. And like Colin said, the fielding was outstanding. Yeah. So we're going to get loads of confidence from that tonight. We've got to back ourselves again. We've got to go Sunday. And the confidence be sky high in that dressing room now. And Campbell will be reminding the lads of that. He'll be saying, look, we are very good players. We're a very good cricket side. Last night was a blip. Tonight we're back on it. Let's turn up on Sunday with the same focus, the same mindset as we had today. And yeah, look, we've got to back ourselves. So I'm going to say Durham win.
Absolutely, Colonel. You reckon?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think he's touched base here. I think 4 home games have won. Yeah. So another home game Sunday. So that's a big boost. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't expecting any other answers from you two there. Listen, Scott Borthwick, Phil Mustard, thank you very, very much. Of course, a massive thank you to our commentary team as well, Gordon Mutchell, Danny Hazel and Rob Rush. But that rounds us off here on Durham Live, because at the business end of the season, it's back to business once again for Durham with yet another T20 win. It's on to the Steelbacks on Sunday. From all of us here on Durham Live and from me, Andy Sixsmith, thanks for watching. We'll see you in 48 hours.